on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Dazzo Nation Podcast, episode number 15, brought to you by 4 Seasons Hosting.com. Go drop a like, go hit the subscribe button, and welcome everybody to another week of the podcast. Today we got a special guest who will be joining us here in a little bit, along with myself, Mr. Skittles, as always, in here. And we're going to be talking about some audio gears, mixers, microphones, headphones, you name it. We're going to get right into it here in a bit. Officer Lincoln 4, how you doing? Mr. T.O.B., how I see you there, bud. Okay. Purple. And Mr. Ethan is also live on his end, I believe.
Yep.
Just getting some final things ready to go here.
Okay.
Sounds good. So, hope you all are excited about the next episode. I know I am.
Say hi, everybody, to the Discord.
Welcome everybody from Ethan's live stream.
Let me know if the audio is good, guys. And I will check.
Anywho, so a little bit of a cool little announcement from Steam, from SCS actually, regarding the really awesome trucking event that happened with both Euro and American Truck, and that was their Valentine's run, and it was actually quite an amazing event. I actually completed all 14 missions. I believe you did as well.
Yes.
And let me go ahead and pull up that article here.
Nancy, thank you for dropping that link.
The event announcement as it just ended today. It says, "Sweet Valentine event conclusion. With the intention of celebrating the timeless tradition of Valentine's Day, exactly 2 weeks ago, we introduced a brand new thematic world of
Can we
trucks
drop
event,
some
in which we ask players
in the chat
to deliver special
for
Valentine's
Nancy
presents cargo across all the trucking territories. Now, since the event was successfully concluded on Sunday, the 19th, we'd like to thank and congratulate everyone for taking part and offer you some final thoughts." So, here's the final thoughts here.
Drop some hearts for Nancy.
What's that?
Gonna have to drop some hearts for Nancy in the chat. Because she dropped that a big support like.
Oh, very, very good.
Who did?
Yeah.
Let's go to the hearts. Let's show all the hearts.
Drop some hearts, everybody.
Thank you, Mom, for dropping that little like.
There we go. Bam.
Bam.
Light it up in hearts, folks. Light it up in hearts.
Let's do it. Because
light it up on all the hearts. All right. So, the community goal, which was set at 500,000 deliveries, not deliveries, was actually completed before Valentine's Day itself, and we consider that to be absolutely amazing. We knew that achieving this number wouldn't be an easy task, but all of you managed to surprise us with your true passion and dedication to finish the goal as quickly as possible. We also appreciate all the feedback that we have received, and as soon as we hope to return with another event next year, we'll make sure to take it all into consideration. For now, let's take a look at some of the final statistics from this year's Valentine's event. So the number of jobs in kilometers and in miles. So kilometers was 391,231,918, or 100,243. My God, my tongue does not want to work. And that's in miles. So 243 million miles and 391 kilometers. 300 mil. Wow. Okay, I quit. I'm sorry. Wow. Words, how do they work? Anyway, we traveled a whole crap ton of miles. Okay.
Damn.
Globally. Okay. The number of events that were completed was 1,013,805. Now, remember, that was a goal of 500,000, which means we doubled the actual events. That is pretty amazing. And they even said these numbers are truly incredible, and we hope you are enjoying the Trucker, Cubit, and Box of Chocolates reward. So that's one of the items you can actually add in your game. Box of chocolates sits on the seat, and there's like a little hanging thing that you can put up on your windshield from them. We realize that Valentine's Day is really is a time-limited holiday, but now you can explore ETS2 or ATS with the accessories all year long. Additionally, don't forget we also have updated the Valentine's paint job pack for each game with the styles used for the special cargo event. Well, that's pretty fancy. I had a lot of fun. Although it would have been really cool if they would have been able to put flashing lights around the trucks like they did with the Christmas trucks. That would have been really cool, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But all in all, it was fun. It was actually not as hard as I thought it was going to be. It's quite easy. Now, the trick was you couldn't do short hops. Like, you couldn't just go like,
on the street.
100 miles. You probably had to go a couple hundred just to make sure that it would count as your total event for the event. So, but that's the first one I've actually done. I didn't complete the Christmas one, but the Valentine one I did complete. So, truly had fun. So that was that news. And
I'm surprised that only 1 million events was done total. I'm surprised.
Well, I mean, how many people actually have the game, to be honest? And how many people actually have all the states that are available right now?
You don't have to have all
that
the
probably
states.
does make a difference.
No, you don't. You do not need to have all the states to get the achievement.
If you have to have a minimum of 14 deliveries, right?
Yeah.
Is that 14 different locations, or can you just go 14 to the same location?
The base game has 3 states.
Right. I'm just saying you still have to complete 14 jobs.
Yeah, you can do that without having all the states.
What? Oh,
I gotcha.
sorry about that. I was talking.
But yeah, I'm kind of surprised that there's only 1 million deliveries done within.
I mean, the fact that they doubled it was still impressive. But I mean, I would like to know what the audience said. Like, were the complaints? Was it, change it up for next year? Like, what was the comment? I'm curious about. And but again, I don't know. But that was still a really cool event. I had a lot of fun, and I know you did. Since we did do a lot of the convoys with the Valentines, which was pretty awesome. And but now we're on to big and better things. Now we're actually traveling all over the stateside and taking on some really cool cargoes, some cool freight market stuff. Been using different trucks that we've been showcasing. Everything from the old Scott.
What truck are we doing?
Well, what trucks have we done? First of all, because we've done a bunch.
We've been hauling different trucks the last couple of days. And
yes, we have.
It is Retro Week.
Yes, it is. So we're talking old school trucks, not modern trucks. We're talking old school. Although there are some features that aren't technically old school, like some of the LED stuff that really didn't exist back in those days. But, we try to go very retro, very Spartan, if you will. Because most big rigs in those days were pretty Spartan. They were not set up for luxury. They were not set up with long distance. In fact, what I'd researched was a lot of times these truckers would just be one-way deliveries, and they would just pick up a different truck somewhere else. They didn't actually use a lot of people didn't use their own trucks.
That was back in the day, yeah.
Yeah, back in the day, it was like you took a job for a company and you just drove their trucks. You'd go to one location, drop that truck off, they'd gas it up, and you'd go take a different truck while that one was being serviced for somebody else. Mm-hmm. That's kind of how it worked. See, that's pretty cool, TLB. My uncle drove for Crete and for Werner Trucking for a lot of years. He was a long driver, so he would travel across the country. He wasn't a short driver. And as I mentioned in one of the streams, I said that the thing that always got him was driving through the mountains in the wintertime. that's just no bueno. I mean, we're talking 2-lane roads in many areas. As you see, as we stream, we actually go to some of these locations, and it can be very sketchy, especially around some of these tight corners when it's icy out. And some areas don't even have guardrails.
Mhm.
So many times drivers wouldn't make it, which is really, really sad. But he did he drove. And the thing that was so funny is like when I had seen him, one of the first time I'd seen him in a long time, he had like literally a Forrest Gump style beard. And usually he was clean shaven. I'm like, wow. That's like, an epic beard, and it was like, wow, it just didn't even recognize him. Yeah, those were the good old days. And so we're driving everything from like the Scott trucks to the
So we did start off with the Mac Superliner.
yes, the
Then we
Superliner
went
Mac.
with the Mac R.
Yep, that was one of my favorite trucks. I like that
And
one.
then we had the GMC Astro.
Yep.
Absolute amazing truck. Even though it's a paid mod.
Yep.
And then we did the Scott A2 HD, another good old Canadian truck.
Yep. Geez, no bias there.
And then yesterday, we finished the stream with the 1974 Hayes Clipper.
That's right. Hi, Bella.
Miss Bella, how you doing?
So that was actually pretty cool, to be honest with you. Driving around these old retro trucks and for me, I wanted to kind of make them look truly retro, so I would actually look up paint jobs from those days. So like the Mac R 686, which was the late 70s, early 80s, I found a paint scheme that had kind of an orange and blue combination, and there was a really cool paint scheme inside of ATS that I used and I just like, okay, I'll just fine tune the colors, and came up with some really cool things. And the neat thing was the Trilix wheel hubs, which were very old school.
Yes.
They kind of have like a spoked look, and just a really cool thing. And thanks to Dazzo for pointing that out. I'm like, oh, I need those in my life. And they're pretty amazing. Not gonna lie. The Scott was interesting because as I mentioned, it was really hard sometimes to orient myself early on because of the way the nose is, and you're not offset, but it's like the way the shape of the hood is very, very angular. I
almost
kind
like
of struggled a little bit, but it wasn't too bad. I mean,
Hey,
it drove
QB,
nicely.
welcome.
So, but yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And we got more coming up. We'll be exploring some other stuff too in the future. So you have to stay tuned for that announcement. Not announcing it yet, but there's something on the horizon that's going to be pretty fun.
Tomorrow we are going to be driving the Freightliner FLB.
Yep.
Guys.
That's not the news, by the way. That is not the news.
Oh no, I know.
Yes. So no, the Freightliner FLB it's a really cool truck. It's a flat nose truck. I just painted up mine. I went with like a really cool yellowish orange
Don't
color.
spoil it.
Oh yes, I'm going to, because I've already posted the pictures in my Discord if they want to go check it out.
There you go.
See, I don't spoil it. I already posted the photographs. But it looks pretty cool, to be honest. I think it looked really good. I enjoy, a lot of the design. I'll tell you though, when you can get meticulously down to the most intimate detail of your truck, like just every little nuance, it takes so long. It took me probably close to 45 minutes to get that truck customized, just to get every little nuance in there. Yeah, it was a pain in the butt, but I think it looked good at the end. I really do. So I can't wait to see your truck.
Oh, yes.
When you build yours,
you'll see
man.
it tomorrow.
Oh yeah.
Before we continue with the podcast, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Rockstar Ethan Boudreau wants to do something special. So, Ethan, are you ready?
Yes, I am actually going to save the special part for the end a little bit later. But tonight I will be playing the drums. the drum to Wagon Wheel by Darius Rucker. But for now, I'm going to move on with Simply the Best by James Bay. Simply the Best by James Bay. Here we go.
Take it away, buddy. Go drop some
Simply the Best by
hearts.
James Bay on YouTube.
We're gonna need to drop some hearts for everybody. For the rock star Ethan Boudreaux.
Who, who, come to me, wild and wilder. Come to me. Give me everything I need. Last time on Promises of the Road of Dreams. Speak the languages you love like you know what it means. Yeah. It'd be wrong. Take my heart and make it strong. You're simply the best. Better than all the rest. Better than anyone. Anyone ever met. I'm stuck on your heart. Hang on every word you meant. Tear us apart. Oh, baby, I would rather be there. I can every night and every day. Ooh, thank you, Daniel. I get lost, get washed away.
TLB, when's your birthday?
This is wrong here.
Or
In my
don't tell me.
you
don't
know
tell them in
better
chat.
place.
Tell me in DMs if you want.
Yeah, you'll be the best. Better than all the rest. Better than anyone. Anyone I ever met. Oh, I'm stuck on you. Heart. I hang on every word you say. Oh, I tear us apart. Baby, I would rather be there. Woo! Each time you leave me, I start losing control. Walking away with my heart and my soul. And when I'm alone, oh baby, don't let go, no. Woo!
He's killing it tonight.
Yeah.
He is killing it tonight.
Woo! Oh, you're simply the best. Better than all the rest. Better than anyone. Anyone ever met. Oh, I stuck on your heart. Hang on every word you said. Oh, I tear us apart. Baby, I would rather be there. Oh, you're the best. Yeah. Alright, ladies and gentlemen. That is your first song of the night, and it won't be the last. There you go.
Bravo.
Good job, Ethan.
Wow.
Thank you. Woohoo!
So, what do we got on deck tonight?
Tonight we're gonna be talking about
Audio gear,
headphones,
microphones,
audio interfaces,
software and hardware,
Wait. Speaking of hardware,
Oh,
go
God.
check out Four Seasons Hosting.
Ooh, look at that segue. That's what we're talking about. That's a professional right there.
Go get yourself a game server, VPS, web hosting service, coding service as well. Go check out fourseasonshosting.com. One-stop shop for all your needs, affordable pricing, and the best customer service.
On the planet.
fourseasonshosting.com. Check it out.
Do it.
That
So-
was
that was interesting. So let me preface this with we you are towing services.
towing
That's amazing.
service. Let's go.
There it is.
I have another song.
Four
going
Seasons towing
for
service.
later.
Oh my god. Good job,
Oh,
TLB. Good job.
That's that. Yes,
I'll give you
that's-
fucking props for that, man.
Before we do wagon wheel for the end of
That's
the season,
catchy.
catchy. So I'm gonna preface this next segment with this is just our opinions. That we
Hold Back the River by James Bay.
both Dazzo and I have a combined total of like some 30 years, maybe even more than that, of audio experience.
Mhm.
Me as a musician, recording, and him working in radio, and as a streamer, both of us, and recording content creators. We have not tried every device out there, but we have done the research over the years to kind of figure out what is really good, what isn't so great, what can get you by, and one that'll make you sound really epic. Keep in
Mhm.
mind that everything that we're mentioning does come with a price tag,
Yes.
and we don't have links or anything like that. So what we recommend is going up on Amazon or a music store like a Sweetwater.com if you're in the States, and just kind of look up the audio interfaces for recording as well as microphones, headphones, and all that stuff. And again, I'm going to be coming from more the musician and studio recording artist. And I think Dazzo probably will come more from the podcaster and radio experience, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Fair to say?
Yeah, we can do a little bit of both.
And so, hey, Sent, what's going on? So
Sentinel, what's up?
let's get started.
Let's get started.
All right. So go ahead.
Well, let's talk about the microphones, since we're technically on that topic anyways.
Yes.
There's a lot of freaking microphones. The good ones, the bad ones, and the mediocre, okay ones.
Okay, hang on here.
Oh, and there you
Yep,
go.
I got it. Well, he might have beat me too.
Sentinel beat him. Oh,
Yep.
Thank you, Mr.
Go on.
Sentinel. Gotta love a spam bots. Anyways.
Well, actually, it wasn't a spam. It was something completely different.
Oh, let me double check.
Yeah, you have to read that.
Oh,
Yes.
okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you, boys and girls, for that.
So anyway, let's continue. Microphones. What are they?
They're what I use.
And what I use.
I
They
have a Blue
capture
Yeti.
sound. They capture voices. They capture instruments. But honestly, what really makes a good microphone
What music?
kind of is subjective, because sound is subjective. Hey, Cross.
Crossy plays in
Um,
the house.
And I think, honestly, Dazzo, there are some good mics. There are some okay mics. There's some mediocre mics. There's some not so great microphones out there.
Mm-hmm.
So why don't you start off and explain kind of what you look for in a microphone? What is it about a microphone that says, yes, I will buy this, or I would like this in my life?
Now,
Go again.
okay, here we go.
Got it.
Thank you, boys.
Damn. Sentinel's on the ball.
Okay,
Sentinel's on the ball.
I'm sorry, but please stop.
Okay, that's going that is going to go to that one right there.
Yeah, I'm sorry, guys.
That's
They
going
better
to
not
that.
spam my chat,
There we go.
guys.
No, he's only going to spam my chat because I'm freaking live. I'm sorry, people.
Yep.
People
I
are
already
so
got it. I've already reported it, so
people are so immature these days. It's not even
Yep.
funny. They don't
Yep,
have the
exactly.
respect. But, anyways,
okay, so microphones. What do you like? What do you, as somebody who's worked in the industry, what do you look for in a microphone? I'm not saying radio or even podcasting for that matter, or recording.
Just generic.
Just kind of what would it be? Is it like a brand name that you typically like? Okay, I know about this brand, therefore I'm going to go with that one, or is it just what others have said, recommended, or?
So, as a content creator, before I even bought my Blue Yeti, I did do my research, and I also did look into buying the Shure microphones for a while before I even bought the Yeti. And I'm like, okay, if I'm gonna start this YouTube journey as a content creator, after I got my PC anyways, I did do my research, and I thought about it for roughly 2 months before I actually bought the Yeti. And I was debating on the pricing. One, because Shure mics can be extremely expensive, depending on the model, of course. And the really good ones is the SM7B. That is about $600 Canadian, $519.
Yeah, $400 US is what I've seen it priced at. I've seen it as cheap as $150, but that's on a really special sale.
Yeah. And when you're starting off as a content creator, normally a lot of people will start off with a snowball from the same company, Blue, or the Yeti mic, because it's easy, it's convenience. USB, plug it into your port, that's it, no worries. And of course you can buy your microphone filter there.
Pop filter or
filter.
windscreen.
Yeah.
Windscreen.
It's cheap. You can get it for about $100.
Mhm.
You know, for the whole set. You don't need a mixer. You don't need audio interfaces. None of that crap.
No.
But
you do need an available USB port.
Eric,
Wow.
okay.
There we go again.
Thank you, devs. Thank you, moderators, for being that quick.
I'm keeping an eye on your chat too as well.
Thank you.
Fine.
Yeah.
I'm telling
That's just a spammer,
you.
unfortunately.
Yeah, unfortunately.
So, yeah, it is. It's literally copy and paste and
Mhm.
just massive.
Yep. No,
I
so
don't even acknowledge it. Just ignore it, dude. Seriously, just ignore it. It's not. Don't even give them the time of day.
Yeah. Moderators, if you guys see anyone start spamming again, just immediately.
Yeah, just hit it. Yeah, if you want to take over so we can keep the show flowing.
Yeah.
Now,
I did
so
spend about
the one thing I'd say about USB though is you got to make sure that your system, if you have a lot of USB on your computer,
Mhm.
you want to be able to manage that, and you want to use the ones in the rear on the motherboard. Don't use the ones in the front because they're generally not as powerful. Those are usually like you could use them for charging something.
Yeah.
Or maybe like a USB headphone microphone combination or whatever, but use the ones on the rear.
Mhm.
And I think now I don't know much about USB microphones because I've never owned one.
Right.
Do you ever get any kind of latency? Which is if the people don't know, latency is the time it takes that you say something until it hits your ears again. And there's
Can
a
you
little
keep
bit
an
of
eye on my
a
chat
delay.
for me, Dazzo, 'cause I'm-
And if it's really bad, you'll hear yourself echoing, or you're starting to hear yourself twice or 3 times or whatever. So, how's been your experience in that?
I've had it for a while. This is what I've had this Yeti since 2018. November 2018 to be exact.
Mhm.
There were times where my Yeti would have that fucking latency issue, and yeah, it's mostly about maybe 3 or 4 weeks, and then it will act up maybe once or twice, and then all you have to do is pretty much unplug it, plug it back in. Usually that works. Usually.
Right.
But there are times where it just fucking gives up on you, and it's like,
Yeah.
well, shit.
Like the other night, we had that problem
But
where you were really quiet during one of our recording sessions. We couldn't figure out what was going on. You're like, oh, that doesn't seem like it is. But then you went back and listened to it, like, oh crap, it was.
Yeah. And you know why?
Game.
Windows update.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we just love that Windows update.
That update always loved to fuck everything over. Sorry about my language, but it's true.
Sometimes you got to be brutally honest.
My gain was subjective from where it normally was when I was setting it at to 0. And then pretty much fucked up my whole entire game.
Yeah, some of those ones, they just like, because everything will default to whatever Windows says versus what we program, like what we want our stuff to sound like, what we want our settings to be at. It'll just say, nope, you can do it. Nope.
And it also messed up with my OBS because I did double check that after the Windows update. I'm like, why did you switch it back to default?
Yep.
Why? Why can't you just fucking leave it alone?
Well, and to be honest, OBS, when it takes an update, sometimes it'll do that as well, as does Discord. I've seen that happen on mine many times.
Discord, I've seen it happen. OBS, I rarely see it happen unless it's through a Windows update.
No, I see it like if OBS actually takes an update, like one of its own updates, I have seen it default back to my previous default settings, not my actual mixer.
Now,
very odd, I know.
Now, I have been trying to save up for a better mic, Shure brand.
Oh, of course.
Okay. Yep. Thank you.
Awesome.
Oh, we got another one.
Didn't even see it.
Who was this guy? I don't know.
And s'mores.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
Oh, wish we could go longer than 300 seconds.
Keep spamming. Yeah. You want your 5 seconds of fame?
Just keep reporting the person too. It's the same person.
Yeah, it is.
Hide them from the channel.
Yep, exactly. So,
anyways, I have been.
I mean, that's the thing. I mean, microphones aren't exactly for decent sounding ones. You really want to spend a little bit of extra bucks. I mean, I've seen microphones. I'm not kidding you, folks. There are microphones that are $30,000 to $40,000 US.
Yeah.
What makes them that expensive?
I got you.
What makes it that expensive is honestly a lot of it is handmade. Like they may machine the external shell, but all the internals are high quality. Yes. Typically, they're going to be very specific types of wiring that's used. It might be even types of gold that's used for like the tracers if it's a digital board. If it's a condenser mic, sometimes it'll have its own built-in tube.
Yep.
And that stuff can be very expensive when you put that level of quality in. Now, these are where you're going to find your professional level studios.
Now, before we get into that.
Oh, no. I was just saying that's where you're going to see those. You're not going to see those on people like myself or...
Unless you have...
We're not rich.
Okay, unless you have a fucking $1 million or win the fucking jackpot for all that really matters. You're not looking at normal content creators spending that much money.
Nope. I think the most expensive mic I've seen a content creator is the SM7B from Shure.
Yeah.
And that because I've seen Jeffrey Gamer just bought one of those or got one of those. So, but no, I was just saying that's how wide the spectrum is. You can spend $10, $5 on a microphone, all the way up to 40,000 and basically beyond. And there is going to be a quality difference. Funny enough, even the most expensive microphones, if they're not tuned properly, are going to sound like crap.
Yep, you're not wrong.
That's one thing you got to remember. It's the same with. It is the same with. What was I going to say? like guitars or amplifiers or drums. How well they're built is gonna basically tell you if it's quality or not. Now, some of the cheaper microphones can really sound amazing.
Mm-hmm.
It's all in how you tune them.
Yep.
You know, Dazzo and I have experience in audio. We're not audio engineers per se, but we've been around long enough to understand it's just nuance.
9 likes, thank you. 9 likes.
And for me, budget does matter for those who are starting off with these microphones. So don't be intimidated.
Yes, do not.
You know, and if you need help, ask somebody. You know, ask a pro audio engineer. Like somebody like, you know, I use Sweetwater. That's my source for all my music gear stuff. And they're extremely knowledgeable.
Another chat,
Mm-hmm.
but I chat with you guys.
So, anyway.
Now,
I need
here's
to,
another thing.
Yeah, I need to step away for just a moment here. I'll be right back.
Oh,
Okay. As Skittles has to step away and take care of some stuff. I also, before I even bought this Yeti mic, I started off with a SteelSeries headphone set. And yes, you guys can see, it's just a normal headset with a mic. I started that for a while, and that's actually not bad. But when I bought the Yeti, I knew the sound difference between how I sounded with the actual SteelSeries headset, which still cost me about $100-ish when I bought it. There was a difference. But I know quality now, after being in the game for the last 6 years. I know difference between each. That's why I'm saving up to do a major upgrade with my microphone. I'm gonna get a Shure, or even one of the PreSonus brands, or one of the other ones. But I'm looking for a major upgrade. Mr. Jeffrey Gamer is in the house.
Hey, Jeffrey, what's going on? Holy cow, Daniel.
What's up?
I am about to hit 33,000 channel views.
Nice.
I'm at 32,909 channel views, guys.
That is awesome.
Hey, I just looked a while ago. I was still at 743. 32,743.
That is nice. Not much, Jeffrey. How you doing, bro? Yeah, I am looking for a major upgrade with my microphone in the future. Not too distant, anyways. And I'm gonna get a audio mixer interface as well to go with it, because I wanna sound a little bit more professional now that I'm getting closer and closer to that 1K. So major upgrade to buy.
Hey, look at that. It's the one and only Jeffrey Gamer, the myth, the legend, the beard, the man himself. Welcome, Jeffrey.
Right.
So that was my dad. The reason why he called was because they're expecting some very big storms
Oh yeah.
for winter, up to 2 feet of snow.
Yeah. We're getting.
And my dad was wondering, because he borrowed his sister's generator just in case they lose power. And they're predicting that it could be bad enough that actually power could be lost. So he wants to be able to see if he can run the furnace off it and anything else on it. Now, I'm hoping that thing is actually powerful enough for the furnace, because it'll get damn cold up there.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, he's got 4-wheel drive equipment, but it's just, if it's 2 feet of snow, that's gonna be real bare. And it's because of his age, and because he's already broken his hip once in his life. I don't want him walking around too much.
He lives in Minnesota, correct? Or Minneapolis area?
Actually up north.
Okay.
Actually in a, I think we're about 2.5 hours from like Fargo.
Okay.
So way up there. So I mean, it's kind of, I mean, you know, any further north and you'll start getting Canadian radio.
Yeah.
You know, I've been to Lake Superior for smelting season.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, we were getting Canadian radio up there in Lake Superior. I appreciate that.
Yeah, there is a
and I'll bet you, Jeffrey, the snowstorm that my dad's about to get in Minnesota is going to come your way too. So yeah, be prepared, stay warm, stay safe, have emergency supplies, get everything you possibly can to make sure that you can weather that storm. No pun intended.
It's
How much snow is he expecting?
It's
2 feet. So whatever that is in Canadian in metric, I don't know how to convert that.
So in Toronto, we're supposed to get 20 to 30 centimeters of snow, so about 8 to 12 inches of snow.
Yeah.
The Buffalo area, I think, is getting roughly the same, anyways.
Yeah,
give or take.
And I because I know that they got slammed like not long ago in that region, and it was all like over the news. It's like, I mean, guys, just be careful up there, man. I mean, don't go out unless you absolutely have to. Yeah. Get your supplies now. You know, whatever you need.
Fuel up your car.
Oh yeah, keep a fuel. Yeah, that's the worst thing is keep a full gas tank, because your gas tank can freeze if it gets too cold. Like the gas can actually freeze. So
we got another spam?
Yeah, we got it. Yep. iSentinel's on it.
Yeah. Stay safe.
Stay safe, Jeffrey.
Yeah. Stay safe.
So,
fuel
anyway.
up your car.
All that, and don't go, like, if you have to sit in your car, make sure your exhaust pipe is not clogged up in deep snow, because yes, that's how you can actually die. Carbon monoxide poisoning is dangerous.
I'm in Dazzo's chat too. If you don't see the spam, I will get it also. Just so I'm also here.
So I'm sorry, I didn't mean to step away like that, but this was kind of a big deal for my dad. So, but when it comes to your Yeti microphone, what was it that said, I'm going to go with this versus, let's say, maybe another $100, like a Shure or a Rode or something like that? Like, what was it about that? Was it just somebody else you saw using it and you're like, okay, I'll try that one?
One was the pricing, because I didn't want to spend a certain amount of money.
Right.
2, before Jeff Fabiano bought his other mics, he was using a Yeti as well, and a lot of YouTubers back then was. A lot of YouTubers were. Even Twitch streamers were. So I knew, and I also did my research as well. I'm like, starter, content creator starter. 150 would be my max.
Yeah.
To spend, because let's face it, when you're 20-year-old, 22 years old, you don't have a lot of money because you still gotta buy groceries, pay bills, whatever.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
That all has to come first, because even when you're starting off, you're not getting the YouTube benefits.
You're not getting anywhere near the viewership to actually afford you the luxury of buying equipment.
So you have to think, if you have the money for it, sure, you can buy a more expensive microphone like the Shure brand, Roadcasters and all that.
Sure.
But if you don't, price yourself. $150 for a microphone, that's more than enough to start your YouTube career or your Twitch career.
And, point of fact here, you can sometimes get that kind of a price tag on bundle gear.
Yes.
If you look for the right sale, you can find an interface, a physical interface for your microphone. Because it doesn't necessarily have to be USB. It can be what's called XLR, which is probably the most common connection for a microphone to an interface.
Yes.
Keep in mind, that is not built into most computers. This is where you'll need an external interface in order to run a device like that. That's where mixers or things like audio interfaces, like these are basically sound cards is all they are. I mean, a mixer is essentially a sound card.
Yes.
It's a glorified sound card that's got a bunch of knobs and doodads and flip all the buttons and the faders and all that stuff. But for me, coming from the music world, I was always watching my favorite performers and what they were using. And back when I was first starting out, there was no internet. So
Yeah.
you literally had to learn from people who already had the gear, or people that were other musicians, or talk to people who worked in music stores.
Mhm.
And I lived by a few of them, actually, so it wasn't much more than going 20 minutes out of my way to go to a music shop. And I would
Right.
ask, like, what's a decent microphone for this price tag? And they will typically put you in that avenue.
Mhm.
And they'll say, yeah, for a couple extra bucks you can get this and that. And one of the things too is there are two basic types of microphones out there. There's what's called condenser microphones, and there's ones called dynamic microphones, and there's a big difference between the two.
Mhm.
A condenser mic requires an extra power source, 48 volts,
Mhm.
to generate what's called phantom power.
Mhm.
Most USB microphones do have that built in. Like I believe the Yeti has that built in. I believe that's a condenser mic,
Yes.
and it does have it built in, and it's just running low power, and it's low voltage, so the USB can handle it.
Yep.
It's not a high voltage signal. It's a very low voltage. It's DC voltage, which is very low powered.
Mhm.
So it's not going to cook anything. Condenser mics are extremely sensitive to noise.
Yep.
In other words, it will pick up. I'm not kidding you guys. I'm not trying to be funny. It will pick up everything. Hey, Rachel. And it's not to be gross, but literally, if you fart, it'll pick it up. That's how sensitive these microphones are. Or can
Rachel,
be.
welcome to the stream.
And
Hey, Rachel.
my experience with the condenser mic was, the first one I had was an MXL brand, and it was the 992, which is a large diaphragm microphone, condenser mic. It was a champagne color, and it was nice. It actually came in a kit. I had like two stereo ones as well, so stereo pairs, which are long kind of pencil microphones that are designed for like overhead recording, like say cymbals. And I'll be honest, I love condenser mics for what they are, but you have to have a very, very controlled room so that it doesn't pick up everything. You may end up having to put money into a noise gate, which basically sets a certain threshold for where sound is going to be picked up.
Yep.
If that's confusing, just kind of look it up on YouTube and kind of understand what that really is. But essentially, you want to be in a very controlled room, where everything is not soundproof, but sound controlled. If you want to know how noisy or reflective your room is, meaning how much reverb is, go into your room and clap your hands. If you can hear an echo, that tells you it's very reflective. It bounces off every wall.
Like music.
Things like that you're going to want to look at more than maybe what your budget can handle for a microphone like that. Let's jump over to the dynamic microphone. That's what I'm speaking through. I have a podcast mic, it's actually just a pod mic from Rode. It's a very affordable $100 microphone. It's XLR. It came with its own mounting system, and then I just attached that to my my armature. Condenser mics actually do require a shock mount, because if you bump it, it will literally pick up that bounce. Like you can hear that, but it's even worse on a condenser mic. Way worse than that. So I typically will say condenser mic if you can control it, but you're going to have to realize it's going to be a little bit more money to control your sound in your room.
Rachel, I'm doing all
mic
right. Thank you.
Will work as well, especially if you're just by yourself. In a room that has a bunch of noise. You don't have to worry about it. You don't have to really worry about nuance or a flea farting or whatever. But again, it's going to vary on your budget. I think that for me, I've used several condenser mics and I've used dynamics. I love this pod mic. I really do.
Mm-hmm.
I think it sounds good. I was able to dial it in.
Yeah.
I took the time to actually learn about it. This one, like
Yeah,
a lot
you
of
take your time.
microphones, like condenser mics, you don't talk into the top of the microphone. You talk into the side of it.
Yeah.
On a microphone like that, there's going to be a little heart. That's the cardioid. That's the direction you're going to talk into. Dynamic mics are a 360, meaning that the sound will pick up whatever side you're on, typically. Like the little silver ball ones that you always see people use, like the SM58s.
Mm-hmm.
Those are silver ball. Those are dynamic mics. They pick up sound from all directions. Condenser mics really pick up from one direction. So if you have it backwards, it may sound super quiet. When you look at the thing, the cardioid, it says talking to here.
Yeah.
My dynamic mic, I talk into the top of it, which is where the actual cardioid is, the actual little heart-shaped device that picks up your sound.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Dazzo, I'm gonna.
It's very
put my
nerdy,
link
I
in
know.
your chat. I'm gonna put my link in your chat because Rachel's asking for it.
All right. No problem.
Sounds good. And I think that was already done. Yeah, Sentinel did that.
The Yeti mic has various options as well.
Yeah.
Or
Do you have
100
do you have a flat and low cut on that?
Yeah.
That's cool.
You can switch it up. You can increase your gain through the actual mic itself, and then you
Right.
can obviously just filter that through OBS with a variety of different filters and whatnot.
Thank you, Sentinel.
But that's why I actually bought the actual Yeti. I'm like, $150. Yeah, I'll fucking take that. I'll take that.
Yeah. No, I get that.
Star
Now, what do you
YouTuber.
control your levels with? Like, do you have, because you don't have a physical mixer like I do.
No.
What do you actually use?
I don't.
Okay, so all your control is done on your microphone.
Done through the microphone and then filter it out through OBS.
Okay, so you have like noise gate and all that stuff, right?
Welcome to the
Okay.
channel. I am also live with the Dazzo Nation Podcast also right now.
So
Yeah.
that's one way folks to do it. I mean, yeah, that's a very budget way, especially if you're starting out and you don't have extra spending money. Dazzo has a really good suggestion. Just go with the
Don't
Yeti,
forget to turn on.
and if you learn how to use it, I mean, spend the time and learn how to use it. Don't just plug and go. Learn how the thing works. That's how you're going to get the best response out of it.
Yeti mic.
And then learn the filters that are inside of OBS, right?
Yeah. Yeti mic is one of the technically the least expensive microphones out there. It has 4 different ways to do it,
Right.
so you can choose whatever.
Right.
And then you can just filter it out through OBS.
Yeah.
Set up the audio, set up your microphone, have it pick it up, and
Yep.
then go through, filter it.
And what we're talking about filters, things like noise gate, which closes off like certain decibels
Mm-hmm.
of noise levels. And
Yep.
there's also EQ filter. EQ is a filter.
Yep. EQ
You
is
are
filter.
controlling the volume. That's really what this is. Something I did not know about EQ was equalization is all about volume on different types of frequencies.
Mm-hmm.
And research where speaking voice is, whether you're male or female, you're going to have different settings for that. And you just kind of learn this. It's not something you're going to learn overnight.
Right.
When I watched Jeffrey's very first video, you could tell he was just starting out. It was, the quality wasn't there yet. He was learning how to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And then now he's become a professional in how he has his audio set up. It sounds very good.
Yeah.
He captures his low bassy voice very, very well. And it sounds amazing. You can tell the differences in microphones just by what you're hearing.
Yep.
Close your eyes. Don't just use your eyes. Close your eyes and listen to how the sound hits your ears. That goes a long way, in my opinion.
It does.
It
It does.
because we hear with our ears. Now, I, of course, understand with my elbows, but anyway, that's another story. But so let's talk about headphones.
Hold on. Before we get
Oh.
into headphones,
Yes,
I do
sir.
have a special guest in the house.
Ooh, we do.
Yeah, we do have a special guest in the house. Ladies and
We do.
gentlemen, Mr. Warrior is in the house.
Warrior in the house.
What's up?
Hey, Warrior, how's it going?
Gentlemen, how are we?
Good, good.
Very good.
Geeking out about audio equipment.
I will say, I mean, I tuned in a little bit just before you guys dragged me in here, not gonna lie. So, I mean, I agree with everything you just said, Skittle. I mean, that's perfect. What you just said. I mean, especially because last year I worked for my high school's publications team, and like the one thing they stressed about to us for like our episodes that we did, like that were kind of like news like, they were like audio. It's like it can't be too loud, it can't be too quiet, it has to be just right. And they would kill us on points for the class if your audio was too loud or too soft. And what they would do is like they're like just like listen to your audio, and like they said, like just close your eyes and listen to what you sound like on camera and think, if I'm the average viewer, will I be able to understand what the person is saying? Will I be able to understand, or will I be able to hear them clearly? And it's like, and is any background noise, in this case our music that we put, too loud that it's been overpowering the person?
Yes.
That was the one thing we call him the editor-in-chief emphasized about, ensuring that nothing was too loud.
Yeah. That's all about balance. I mean, that's the hardest part too about recording engineering. It is a very delicate balance between everything sounding amazing or overpowering. Now, I'm a bass player. I've been a bass player for over 30 years, and believe me, it's easy to make bass really super loud where it overpowers things like vocals and other guitars. And because I sit at a different frequency level than a guitar player does, I sit on the lower ranges, like around 60 hertz to 120 and things like that. I try to get rid of much boxy sound as possible and shimmer a little bit on the upper ranges, like around the 3 or 4K, just to give a little more sparkle.
Right.
And that's hard to do. Then you got to figure out the volume. Where is that going to be leveled at where it's going to sound good with the drums and the rhythm guitar? Same with vocals.
Rachel,
Vocals
it's okay,
need to sit just above the music.
I appreciate you stopping by.
Or whatever it is. Like if you're doing a church live performance, or if you're doing a play or a musical or something, the voice has to sit above that. And it's such an art. And it's not something you learn overnight. You learn tricks over the years. And I'm just a musician. I'm not a recording engineer, but I learned how to do it. I am no expert.
Yeah.
Right.
I can vouch for that entirely because I'm a musician myself. I play the clarinet for
Mr.
our high school's
Drake.
ensemble,
How you doing?
and I'm also a student conductor. So
Okay.
we have a marching band. I'm a drum major for the marching band.
Nice.
And we had them. What the directors had us do, where they were just like, we want you to just constantly listen to the sound of the band. They go, forget about the recordings of what the audio is supposed to sound like. They're like, focus on what the sound actually does sound like.
Yeah.
Because they wanted to separate the audio engineering, like audio engineered music where everything's perfectly in tune and everything is perfect. And me and you both know this, but for people who aren't musicians, there is no perfection in music.
No,
there will always be something that's wrong.
But I'll tell you something, as a writer, I'm always looking for perfection. I'm never satisfied.
This is the thing. Like recently, we had our winter concert, and I'm coming out, and my parents.
Hello, Jack.
They're like, "Yeah, that was amazing," and I was like,
Welcome.
we performed as expected." And they're like, "You never have any satisfaction." I'm like, because it wasn't perfect. Because I'm always looking for perfection whenever I play a piece of music for the public, the general public of the area that I live in.
Yep.
And so it's my band director, he's the same way. Me and him are the same way. Like we're both always looking for perfection. We know it's not achievable, but it's still good to look for there, because if you set yourself up for high goals, then you're going to set yourself up for high success. still never reach perfection, but you'll
No.
still reach a very high level of success where if you're just like, well, we know we're not going to be perfect, so let's just kind of, do things the normal way and we'll go from there.
Right.
But,
And one of the things that you learn about in that world is how to find the instrument itself.
Oh, yeah.
So for example, like if you were listening to, let's say, a 60-piece orchestra, a 100-piece orchestra, could you, during that whole, if all of them are playing a note, could you find a clarinet? Could you find an oboe? Could you find a saxophone or a trombone? Could you hear it? Some people are really good at pinpointing where that is because they understand where frequencies are. They understand where do those brass or woodwinds sit in a mix. Drums, you're always going to be able to hear. You're always going to be able to hear the timpani. You're always going to be able to hear a kit because of what they are just sonically. Woodwinds and brass aren't always easy to pick out.
And there goes another dumbass.
So
And- Go ahead.
I'm sorry to interrupt you.
No, you're good. You're good.
For us, it was really easy to see. For me, it's really easy to tell woodwinds apart from brass. It's just when I get to brass, it gets difficult. I can't exactly be like, that is exactly a tuba, that's exactly a trombone, a trumpet, baritone,
Or a French
But if
horn.
it's like a woodwind, or
Yeah.
exactly a French horn. Like, but if it's a woodwind, I can be like, that's a tenor sax, that's an alto, that's a clarinet, oboe, and that's because, the woodwinds this year in the marching band outnumbered the brass like a solid 3-1. Like there were
really?
more
Okay.
clarinets, alto saxophones. Trying to think who else. We had a Barry saxophone, flutes. All of them outnumbered them, so it was really easy to hear them. And brass, although outnumbered, their instrument is generically designed to be louder than anything else. So
Yeah.
the issues we were having at the time of the season was brass was playing loud enough, but they weren't playing in tune, and we would keep
that's the
telling
worst.
them. And here's the thing: it's like you watch all these big, it's like the thing is like the one thing that my band director taught me at the end of this season was don't watch any shows like DCI shows, or like don't watch, like wait till your season's over then watch it all. He's like, because what ends up happening is you'll see these other high school groups that are like way better than you, or you'll see these other DCI groups and you'll hear how nice they sound, how good their marching technique is, and you'll be like, we suck. And so you get into that mentality of like, wow, we really we're terrible. And so it's like you want to focus on, doing what you can to make the group successful.
Gotta do what we gotta
and then it's
do.
like that way when you go to watch these groups, you'd be like, hey, we kind of did that pretty well too, instead of being like, oh wow, I just realized we could have done this better, this and that. And that was the big problem that we had with brass, was because you as a musician, if you're told that you're sharp or flat, you as the musician independently have to know how to fix that. We physically cannot fix it for you. We can't jam the barrel or the mouthpiece of the instrument down your throat and be like, you're too flat, you're too sharp.
You could. That would be amazing.
I mean, see, we could, but then my director would get sued, and then I would get sued, and then we'd have a lot more problems than the band already would.
Damn
And
lawyers.
so we were having that issue with brass was playing it was mostly sharp. And so we went to the University of Toledo in Ohio. Best time ever. Got to meet a bunch of drum majors from different schools. We ended up qualifying for finals. And we ended up placing 10th out of, I think that day, there were 18 bands. So we were pretty happy.
Yeah.
And I remember watching the performance, and brass did pretty well. There were some parts where I was like, okay, it's a little flat or it's a little sharp, but I'm pretty sure it's like there again. It was cold out. It was a little cold out because it was nighttime, because finals was around like 5 p.m. During that time.
Gotta love playing in the
Dark out
cold.
already.
Gotta love playing in that cold.
Yeah, so I'm up there. So I'm a backfield drum major, so I'm sitting on the back 50-yard line, and I'm sitting there, and I'm conducting the band, and they're all looking at me, and they're counting. The only issue was the woodwinds would be counting the correct way, brass wouldn't be, because brass would always have some issue with whenever they would go through a prop, when they would be fluttering through a prop, they would always have an issue. Like they would just lose count. Something happened. I don't know. I don't know if that prop like had the back rooms going through it or whatnot, but like that prop literally just got them to get off count.
Have you ever seen the movie Mr. Holland's Opus?
No.
Oh my God, you need to watch Mr. Holland's Opus. You need to watch that. It's a 1995 film. You need to watch that because it's just about the music is hilarious. You just got to watch it. It's amazing. You what you just described is exactly what you can see in that movie. It's hilarious. Hilarious stuff.
Yeah. So they're going around.
You can make a Discord account, but you're not.
Now you face the head
not
drum
allowed
major
to join
who's on
us
the
on the
center 50,
podcast.
who's directly across from me. And so I'm in time with him. And then I hear brass come in early. Woodwind's coming out on time. And I was like, I was like, this is either going to tear or they're going to catch it and they're going to realize what they're doing. Thankfully, on that day, they caught what they were doing. But we have a flyover. I sent a picture here I remember showing a picture of it to Dazzo when I showed him the theme of the show. But basically, we had this giant flyover where it was our color guard girls would take these 8-foot tall poles and they would physically heave it up in the wind and it would fly over the entire band, who would be in the general vicinity of between the 45 and 50 yard line area. It looked amazing.
Wow.
The problem was there's a prop on the center 50 yard line, and what ended up happening was the flyover is the fabric would snag on it if we didn't put this pole through the center area. So in prelim performance, which is before finals, we didn't do that properly. The prop snagged on the tarp and the prop came parts of the bar of the prop came down. I didn't even know we had a flyover because the day before the competition, I was in DC for my brother's wedding. So I'm sitting there and I walk up to my band director and I was like, what did I miss? And he's like, we got a flyover. It's at this section. He goes, you don't need to worry about that. I'm thinking he's saying there's going to be a few of the color guard girls with big flags. And then I just see this giant phoenix come at me. I was like, whoa! I was like, that's really cool. And then it snags on the prop, and then you just see everything, kind of get broken-ish, kind of. And they're pulling on it and everything. I'm like, are they supposed to be doing that? Because I didn't know. Yeah. And then I realize I see just over the prop, the head drum majors counting off the band to start the next part. And I was like, okay. I was like, this definitely, is not supposed to be happening. And so the girls get the tarp off the floor. They have to change uniform. There's a part where they have to change. So they're coming behind these little props. They're changing. And so they're frantically changing out of their uniform. And I'm like, you guys got this. I was like, you guys are fine. Just take your time. Trying to give them words of encouragement. I'm not supposed to talk technically. I'm supposed to have a serious face the whole time. So I was hoping that the judge wasn't near me, and he wasn't. Thankfully, he was by my head drum major. So I knew he wouldn't be able to see my mouth moving from the distance unless he had really good eyesight. I was like, you guys got this. It's gonna be okay. And when that part with brass came in, I heard it with my ears because I had listened to the band more than those recording. Mm-hmm. And I heard it, and I was like, please don't turn into what I think it's going to turn into. And they caught themselves. Then we finished the part, and I was like, that was dangerous. I go, we really need to talk to brass. So we talked with them. We were like, yeah, you guys keep losing count in between this set and this set. What's going on?
Rachel, I'm sorry that you had a few breakdowns today.
1, 2, 3, 5, 1, 2, 3.
So it's literally the piece literally is in 4/4. I have the scores in my locker in my band locker at the high school.
Yeah.
The score is 4/4. It changes to 3/4 every once in a while. The only part where it could possibly get confusing is in the fourth part where it changes to 5/4.
Syncopation.
So we didn't even have the fifth. We didn't have the fourth part at the time at the University of Toledo. We just had parts 1 through 3.
Yeah.
Part 3 was all 3/4. So I'm just I'm like, and our director, he was a little mad. He's like, listen, he goes, you are in high school. He goes, if you can't count 1 to 4, you can't count 1 to 3. He goes, I don't want you here. He's like, because this is simplistic math. He goes, it's just counting 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. He goes, if you can't do that, He goes, we need to take you back to kindergarten to learn your numbers again. And me and the other drum majors were just like, Jesus. His name's Elliot.
Wow.
We're like, Jesus, Elliot. We're
Damn.
like, yeah, we're like,
Dude.
that is. We were just like, I mean, you're not wrong. I'm like, but at the same time, I'm like, that's terrible. And so that, we had some parents complain about that because some kids told their parents about that, and the brass section leaders ended up kind of resolving the situation. But we were just like, wow, he's not happy.
Dude, that reminds me
of the thing, like you said, goes back to your ears. Your ears will tell you what you need to be listening for more than what your eyes, what your mouth, or what, whatever it is. Because as a musician, like you said, some people have the ability to point out, like, that's a clarinet, that's an oboe, that's a, that's a trumpet, that's a baritone, that's a violin.
Yep.
Things like that. It's like those people have taken, especially people like us who are musicians, we have I got trained on how to do it because our director.
Yeah, I'm self-taught for the most part on bass. I've been playing, like I said, I've been playing 34 years, and I took 6 lessons. I like screw that, but now the music I learned was like Metallica, Iron Maiden, stuff that's not exactly easy to play.
Yeah,
and
it's got plenty of. Oh yeah.
And then when I got really nuts, I started learning Dream Theater. So imagine trying to play, I'm not kidding you, this time signature, 1819. How does that not break your brain?
Dude, the highest I know how to play is 12/8, and that's supposed to.
And that just breaks down to 4/4 and 3/4. That's really all that breaks down to.
That's exactly what it is. But at the same time, I'm sitting there, and according because it's music education, we have to go off the state's curriculum. So the state curriculum says if you're a junior in high school, which is what I am, you should know up to this time signature. And it's like 12/8, and it's like if you're a senior, you need to know 16/8. I'm just like, that's literally 4/4, but in halftime practically.
Yes.
Or cut time. It's like you could try it in cut time where you could do like 4 extremely elongated 4/4.
Yep.
Or you could just do cut time, and you could just do.
I'm gonna assume that you're familiar with Pink Floyd, are you not? Like a song called Money.
Is. My father definitely is.
Okay, so there's a song by Pink Floyd called Money. That's in 7/8. That intro, that whole thing, that ding 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 ding, that's all 7/8.
Okay.
So I had to I had to learn that stuff. Like a 6/8 can be counted as 3/4.
Right.
But 6/8 is a faster, basically a waltz. 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 5.
Or if it's the piece is slow, like I know the piece Nearer My God to Thee is in 6/8.
Yes,
but it's slower.
But it's slow. It's a slower BPM.
It's a slower piece, so automatically using that 3/4, you're going to be moving with much more legato type conducting if you're conducting the piece, and if you're playing it, you're going to be extending the notes much more because the piece is supposed to symbolize like sadness and
emotion, exactly.
Emotion, exactly. So, pieces, that is the one thing I think that a lot of people don't like. A lot of people who are musicians like us, like me personally, I love playing legato pieces on the clarinet because the problem with wind ensemble is that wind ensemble. Wind ensemble.
That's right, Heidi. Did you press the like button?
Goes, our director goes, here's your music. We look at the page. Oh, we're playing 16th notes for 20 plus measures. And we look up at the director, we went, F you, Elliot. For real, dude. We really hate you right now because there's like, if you really expect us to be able to play this, I go, I'm sorry to say, give us 4 months in advance minimum. Because the thing is that if, obviously the music is separated into separate parts. So the first clarinets are going up to like a high F, which is like one of the highest notes achievable on the clarinet.
Yeah, and you got it.
And we're high school musicians, so when we play that note, it doesn't sound pretty. And
no, it doesn't.
The one thing that our director is that he sets us up for success, and he's a great director. Like I mean that really. Like he's a great guy. He's a great director. He's great at teaching music, but he just like out of the bat, instead of like building it up, he just out of the bat is like, yeah, here you go. I expect you to know how to do this. And with this whole COVID thing, I didn't get an 8th grade year technically of learning the rest of music. So I had to self-teach myself 16th note, 32nd note patterns, because in 8th grade, in our state's curriculum at least, you don't start learning 16th notes until after first semester of 8th grade year. And so I'm walking into wind ensemble, and I'm seeing all this music in front of me, and I'm just like, I don't know how to play this. And my director literally he goes, what? And I was like, I didn't have an 8th grade year. I go, I would have learned this in 8th grade. And he's like, no, you should have known how to do this in 7th grade. I was like, I learned 8th notes in 7th grade.
I don't know what you mean there, Heidi.
Yeah.
I was like,
the thing with me is I never had music theory. I never took. I mean, I tried to learn. I had a girl I dated years and years ago who was a piano player and was very schooled in music theory, and I break my brain every time I try to learn. I mean, I understand what music theory does. It builds structure for composition, but I'm a musician. I'm a rocker. I don't give a crap about that stuff when I'm on stage. I'm about performance.
What does this note? How do you? It's to say, so. And we don't get offered music theory until high school, which to me is really dumb because I really think
you should be learning that stuff at a very young age.
5th grade year,
yeah.
I say 5th grade year is when we should be doing music or like the basic music theory that they get at the high school, because then when you start playing the instrument, because how our band program works is 5th grade year, you're kind of like introduced to band. You do band and choir for 4 weeks, so like you'll spend 4 weeks in one class, 4 weeks in the other class, and so those teachers had 4 weeks to try and convince the student, hey, you should join band, or hey, you should do this. And if you didn't want to do it, you had to do some other like not mechanical, but it's like arts and craft.
Sure.
So they would make you join either band, choir, or that arts and crafts period, which would be like your 8th hour or 7th hour. And so, I was more interested in band. I originally wanted to be either a trumpet or a flute, and then I got to try the clarinet out, and I'm sitting there, and the lady she goes, start blowing a lot of air into the instrument.
Yeah,
I do that, and she literally plays this whole like 16th chord at whatever she at the time I didn't know what it was, but I do now. It was like a B flat scale, but in 16th notes, and she's like, I really recommend you play the clarinet, and I was like, that did sound kind of cool, sure. So I ended up becoming a clarinetist, even though I literally wanted to play the trumpet or the flute. I originally was hoping that they offered violin class, or like if we had a string orchestra, and then I learned if you actually wanted to learn how to play the violin, you needed to like start when you were like very young, like 3, 4, 5 years old. Jeez. And I was like,
yeah, you got to start that stuff really young. I mean, you can't just learn it when you're older because you're more impressionable when you're super young, and I think you pick it up. It's more frustrating when you're a kid, but eventually it will sink in, and then you retain it. And now like I said, I never took music theory. I never learned any of that stuff. But bringing it back to recording, you just learn this stuff. Like you just go out and you learn. Because there's really no other way to do it. Yep. Learn by doing.
Yeah.
Learn by doing. And
hey, Sky.
What I say to anybody who wants to either go into a music instrument or recording is each are their own craft. Being a musician is not just about playing the notes. Musicians draw from our emotions. We draw from everything internal or external. Players are just those who play the notes on the page.
Musicians are the people
we live, breathe, sleep, grew, whatever to instruments. And I'm watching Daz's expressions right now. It's amazing.
Yeah.
He's like, I thought I'm bored.
He's this whole time he's just like super serious face, and he's like, I absolutely agree with everything you're saying.
Actually, no, what I'm seeing is
like, are you though? Because the looks you're giving are, skepticism or just a serious face?
No, it's actually, what the hell are we talking about? I am not a musician. I know nothing about music
He's
other than
trying to
listening.
signal to the stream chat. I don't know what they're talking about. I'm
I'm
I
broken.
didn't take music. What are they saying?
Daz was like, I just want to drive a truck.
Yeah.
I'm being
He's
nice over here.
Googling.
Okay.
He's Googling all the terms we're saying and everything. He's like, what does this mean? What does that mean?
What is a 16th note?
I say, what is a 16th note? What is a 3/4 time signature? No, but I
music
agree with
theory.
you.
And we have Mr. Pythagoras to thank for the invention of our music terms. The same man
We
who
also have the
created the
Italians.
Pythagorean theorem, a squared plus b squared equals c squared, is the same guy that gave us music theory.
Yeah. So
Guy's a genius.
On one end, we want to kill him. On the other end, we want to thank him.
I would want to shake his hand and say thank you for giving us amazing techniques.
I would have wanted to shake his hand, and then when he turned around, I'd probably shoot him in the head because I hate geometry. So,
Damn.
so he'd get my respect for one thing, and then get murdered for the other thing.
Are we sure we're not talking to Elliot right now? Because seriously, that's brutal.
Wow.
Listen, I doubt he's listening to this, but if he is, listen,
you better watch out.
I say, you need me senior year, Elliot, for marching band. You can't do
me. You need me more than I need you.
All right.
I mean, honestly, I going back to that recording thing, you're absolutely right with everything and how it works. Because what ends up happening is, like you said, if you don't test this stuff and you just wing it, you're going to be more frustrated than you will ever be in life because you're going to be like, well, why isn't this working? Why isn't this working? Well, did you test it out? Well, no. Well, there's your answer. You didn't try to see how to operate it. And, you gave an absolutely great example with Geo and how, like, his audio originally was in, like, his first ever videos and then how his audio is now, where he was trial and erroring certain things between...
It's night and day different, really. I mean...
Exactly, 9-day difference of just testing, testing certain great quality mics, testing different streaming platforms, things like that. And, the microphone I'm using right now, it's a OMOTON, Omaton, I'm assuming that's how you pronounce the word. It's an Omaton USB microphone. Very beginner.
Mm-hmm.
To me, as long as my voice is heard, it's clear, and you can understand the words that are coming out of my mouth as long as you speak English, that's all that really matters to me. But for guys like Dazzo, people who are professional streamers, or, to them, they need that $500, $600 microphone because they want to show the public, the people who watch them, that they're dedicated to doing this.
Well, that's only if you can afford it.
Well, yeah, if you're
That's a big
under,
F.
I say if you're under 16, then you can't afford a $600 microphone unless your parents are crazy enough to buy you that.
Although I gotta admit, though, it does become a bit of a dick waving thing when you start getting expensive gear. It's like, look what I got.
I see, and that's the thing is that Geo never did that. Like Geo, whenever Geo would be on streams, he would never be like, hey, look, I just got this 4K HD 700 by 500, X thousand TV. He'd just be like, hey, how's it going?
No, that'd be Dangle.
Say, then there's Dangle. But I mean, I've been watching Dazzo for a little bit now, and never once have I seen Dazzo be like, hey, yo, bro, I got, the 4K HD 60 audio bit microphone that works. It gives me 100 decibels per second, and it cost me $5,000. Like these greedy streamers are. I'm like, okay, you bought a $5,000 microphone or $1,000, whatever it was. It's like instead of bragging it, how about you use it?
Right.
And that's the thing. You can buy a $5,000 microphone or a $5,000 piece of gear. If you ain't gonna know how to use it, if you ain't gonna learn how to use it, screw it. Even taking this on a sidetrack here, it's like LSPDFR. How many times can you see the same person say, I broke this thing, I don't know how to fix it, and then you tell them how to do it, and they're like, what? How do I do that?
Yeah, exactly. See,
how do I learn how to do a thing?
See, Dazzo, me and Dazzo relate to that severely because I was a support member for Criminal Justice Server for a while until I retired due to personal reasons.
Mhm.
Dazzo's the support leader of Gio's team. He helps out quite frequently, and I'm walking into, I check support channels there frequently because I'm a senior moderator. And so I'm sitting there, I'm seeing these people go, they go, what's a plugins folder? And I'm like, huh? I'm like, whoa. I was like, okay.
It's
I was
like, wait, have you
Have
not
you ever installed
learned?
LSPDFR
Have you not
before?
learned over the period of time of the videos you watch? Because they'll be like, I watched Jeffrey's, 4-hour, or Criminal Justice's 6-hour tutorial, and I did everything right. That's the worst excuse. I hate when they say I did everything right. Well, clearly you didn't if you're coming to me for support, or you're coming to Dazzo, or one of the other support members of the team.
No.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so,
Exactly.
you're sitting there and you're thinking to yourself, it's like, well, you clearly didn't do something right, and you're thinking it's like, okay, they say like, oh, I'm a beginner. The nice thing is like when we have honest clients, when they're just like, listen, I don't know anything about like how to do any of this. I just need like one-on-one guidance, and that's when we as support members. I'm a senior moderator. I still help out here and there because I still share my knowledge with the guys there.
Mm-hmm.
But I disagree with that entirely.
Wow.
But,
Mikey just
Yeah.
blew up the fucking the fridge there.
Yeah, you did.
all you heard in the background, which is,
God
Yep.
damn it,
and then you're
Mikey.
just like, everyone's just like, what? So, but and I'll just be like, listen,
You couldn't
I'm
find
willing to
chicken.
help you. I'm willing to help you. I'm just willing to, let me teach you this, and that. So they'll.
Or I would just direct him to Criminal Justice's 4-hour epically long, awesome videos on how to do something. Because
Well, see, and that's the thing is like the people will be like, I watched the video, and they'll be like, and then they'll get stuck on certain things because they didn't know that it existed.
Yeah.
It's called a
of the issues
rewind
people-
button. You can rewind it. You can shuffle play. It's very
See, that's
simple.
the thing I
Slider.
don't get to this day is that excuse me. I'm confident that there's no one in this VC that is a part of Generation C, considering the fact that Dazzo's in his 30s, Skittle, you sound like in your 40s, based off the amount of experience you have on base. Mikey, no idea. I'm the only one person here, sitting here currently in the room at least, that is a part of Gen Z. My generation is so tech savvy, but we still can't comprehend the rewind button. But you can see kids my age make these, as I call them, public shaming videos, as I call them.
Yeah.
TikTok.
Yeah. You can say that.
Where they'll make these videos and they'll add all these effects and whatnot. I'm like, okay, so you know how to do this and do a stupid dance that dishonors. I was like, that dishonors whatever it's supposed to mean, or in some cases dishonors your family. And I was like, but you don't know how to do a rewind button. I'm like,
Get the
That's
fuck
why
out.
they suck. They don't know how to use rewind. You have failed.
hey, you have failed. It's like if you're telling me that you can use it's like if you're telling me you can use TikTok and you can use all the effects on it, but you can't simply use a rewind button, which
Give
on
him a-
keyboard
give him a
is the
give him a
left or right arrows.
No, give them a VCR with it blinking 12 o'clock and see how fast their brains break.
Yeah, honestly, we should do that. I mean, don't get me wrong, my brain would break too, but I would still try to do something. Like, Jesus Christ, I was about to say I was engineered like I was a robot. I was taught and raised, if you ever have a problem with something, there's always a way to solve it. And if there isn't
Astro,
a
what's
way,
up?
At least try to solve it instead of just saying, well, there's no way, I give up. And that's the one thing that a lot of people in my generation don't understand, is that they're all taught to be either egotistical or narcissistic. They're all taught that the world
Astro's in the
revolves
house.
around them and that they'll get whatever they want.
Mhm.
And that's not how life works, and life will never ever work like that. And if you do have a life that works like that, well, guess what? You're not actually experiencing life. You're just experiencing a fake fantasy.
The universe does not revolve around one single point of
Single
light.
person. It revolves around the 300. In this case, I mean, it revolves around revolves around a solar system with 7 planets. One only being the planet that has life on it, with a population of 8 billion
7
people.
planets? I counted 9. When did we lose 2 more? Oh God.
It's actually it's a technical. Well, according to NASA, Pluto's not a planet. So
yeah, well, you can say F off to that asshole that said there's not a planet. Well, screw you. Spend a planet my whole life.
It may have its own biome, and it may also have the ability to go around the sun like all the other planets can, but because it crosses paths with a different planet, it doesn't make it a planet. And I was like, that sounds like the stupidest logic possible, and yet you're supposed to be the smartest people in the world.
Okay, switch to thermal on the 50 cal if you haven't already.
So wait, what?
You're good.
Yeah.
Anyways,
so
we got way off topic first.
No, that's what I was gonna bring us.
We went from
I came in here and I was like, what is going on?
Well, no, it actually all it all comes back to one thing. It's
life.
Pick your battles when it comes to audio gear. What do you want? What can you afford? And then choose wisely. Research is important. Don't just say, I'm going to get this because this YouTuber's got it. No. Learn.
So many people do that nowadays. They say, oh, well, this person's got it, so that must mean it's great.
Even in my job, people do that.
Yeah, and people, and in Mikey's job, people get killed because of that.
Uh-huh.
They die.
Wait, Mikey, what do you do?
You don't want to know. He'll have to kill you.
Federal Internal Affairs Officer.
Yeah, wait, for a police department or for the federal government?
Federal government, Federal Internal Affairs.
Bro, I want your job so bad now. I mean, I would have to remain single.
242, do the constant snow if you haven't already. Switch to the thermal scope on the 50 cal.
Listen, man. Listen. That sounds like it pays well, but at the same time, you get the worst possible cases possible. Because
or no, you get the police officer that wants to be Big Daddy, Big Boy, and then you mess with Mikey, and you're like, oh no. You get cuffed and stuffed in the back of the car when you do that.
Yeah. So here's the funny thing is that I'm going into law enforcement in 5 years from now. And I'm going to my nearest closest municipality, which ironically is Chicago. So
Chicago.
F.
So, hey, listen, 82 starting pay 82. I'm only making 61 counting taxes, but still 82. It's better than nothing. I'm making what a 20-year sergeant on my local city is making. So, the thing is though is that the reason I want to go to the city is because I want to see if I can change anything about the city because I want to reach a low-ranking administrative position.
Get rid of the damn mayor. That'll help a lot.
So here's the thing: I'm not good with politics because I'm one of those humans who believes that common sense needs to be a thing more, and that morals should be more appreciated by people instead of just saying money, because that's what most people do. Money. I also wouldn't be a good politician because I would actually respect what my opposing candidate wants.
Oh, no.
Oh God, a person who has a heart and actually cares about people. Oh no. And that's the whole thing. What is his name? He ran against former President Obama in 2008. And he literally is like he is what a politician should be. I forget his name. I shouldn't forget his name because that man is a saint, regardless of what he did. I trust no
politician at all. Nope, they've done fucked the country up too much, so that's why I don't trust them.
That's up to us as the people, though. I'm not going to try to.
Yeah, have we seen it? Have we seen the latest generations?
Well, okay.
Do we know what's been going on?
Let me rephrase that. It's up to people like me and you guys to fix those issues. People like me in my generation are fine. It's the average person in my generation that will make this country even worse. Because they're gonna go say, "Oh, China launched a nuclear missile? Well, let's just TikTok dance on them."
Yeah.
Ni hao, Thailand.
So, but
Listen,
getting back on topic here.
to Headphones, I think, is what we were going to.
Yes, headphones. So
I'll be right back.
my take on headphones, since you talked about microphones, my take on headphones is I like what are called flat response, which means the sound is not colored. What you're actually hearing is the EQ is completely level. It's completely flat. There's no boosting of any or cutting of any frequencies. It's literally a flat line across the board. The reason why I like that is because then I can actually hear what I'm recording, what I am processing, without any degree of overcompensating for bass or treble or mid-range. So flat response. So for example, whenever people buy their gaming headphones, like spending $60-$70 on a gaming headphone,
Yeah.
that's got that audio has boost in bass and treble.
Yeah.
It's almost got like the smiley face on an EQ.
Yeah.
And to me, the reason why I don't like that is because you almost get too much, because you're not even hearing what the audio engineer recorded. You're hearing a overly processed version of that.
But
Now,
but you can turn it off. You don't have to have the EQ.
some
on.
don't allow you to. Some don't let that be a thing, though. There's some headphones that you can't turn off that response. You have to leave it as it's set in the factory.
Yeah, and that's because if you try turning, it's because they're wired to where if you turn off one setting, it turns all of it off, and it's like, no, I don't want that. I just want this specific thing off. And that's the one thing that. So, I'm not really a big gamer. I actually prefer my audio to be out of a speaker, even when I'm recording like a video or anything.
Interesting.
Or like, because for me, audio out of a speaker to me shows what the person who would be watching is hearing. So like, if whereas if it's just a headphone thing, I look like a professional gamer, but I also I'm only the people who are watching only can experience certain things, whereas I'm hearing, I know what that guy is. He's exactly 6.23587 feet from me, at a 180-degree angle. Let me turn and slowly. Oh, I'm dead. It's like, to me, I prefer having audio outside. The only problem is I play a lot of law enforcement games, like Ready or Not. So like I'll be playing one of those games and I'll be, opening fire at a suspect with an unsuppressed weapon. So all you're hearing on my end, you're hearing, like suspect, you're hearing my guy go suspect down, this, and that, because your guy's like normally quiet and it's real because it's trying to be realistic. On the other end, what my parents hear, all my parents hear is gunfire, 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 and some more gunfire. And so I can see Mike laughing right in the camera there. I can see him laughing there. And so they're thinking...
you could be like Jimmy DeSanta.
Oh God!
Exactly. You're walking upstairs to go to bed or whatever, and all you hear is, "Get on your feet, soldier, get out!" And that's all you hear from his room. And so every once in a while, if they're so used to hearing the gunfire that if I'm ever quiet in my room, they'll come in to check on me. They're like, "Yeah, I've been hearing a lot of gunfire. Are you okay?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm fine. I'm doing homework, or like I'm just playing a different game that's more peaceful." Because it's like, God's work. I love Mike's reaction. So I'm sitting there, and I'm thinking to myself, I get why some people wear the headphones, but at the same time, it's just like, sometimes, my father, he'll joke with me. He'll be like, he's like, "Who are you killing?" And I'm like, "Terrorists." And I was like, "They shot up a nightclub and killed more than 100 people." And he's like, "Okay." He goes, "Did you get them all?" And I was like, "Almost all of them." I go, "I pumped 30 rounds into one." I go, and he's like, "I'm pretty sure it's unethical." I went, "Oh, it definitely is. But you see, the thing is, we're SWAT, so we don't have ethics, only bullets." And so he was like, "You know what? Kind of accurate, but at the same time, really not." I went, "That's exactly true." And so, that's the thing. Just for me personally, I prefer audio from the speaker. I mean, I'm using the speaker right now, honestly. And it's pretty cheap. It's a Bluetooth speaker. It was like $20. Like I said,
be like,
I'm not one of those people who's like, I need to have a $100 audio setup with 2, giant ultrasound speakers so I can have them blasting in my face.
Right.
As long as it's working, as long as the audio is clear and concisive, and as long as the audio is projecting properly to me to the point where I can hear everything, it's fine. And then, people are like, why don't you get headphones, this, and that? And I'm like, because I don't want to be a sweat at a video game. I just want to play the game and enjoy it. I don't need to have headphones so I can hear the footsteps of the enemy who's exactly 12.8 feet above me at a 180-degree angle. I don't need to have, it's like, I don't need that. I'm playing games for fun.
Speakers. One, part of the reason why I was saying headphones wasn't really for the ambiance, if you will.
Yeah, the ambience. Yeah,
You're using speakers. Depending on what you're doing, and in my case, I can't just have speakers because of the way this room is. This room is not designed for me. I record music, and
Right.
I need, if I use near field speakers, which are the most common, it won't work because I'll hear stuff and then I won't be able to adjust.
You cut out there.
When I use headphones, it's mainly so nobody gets annoyed.
Mm-hmm.
I've lost a lot of hearing from playing music without earplugs. That started when I was about 13 years old. So I've lost hearing. So to hear better, I have to use headphones.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so, I'm the same way. When it does come to music, absolutely. I have them on me right now. I don't have both. One's in the car. One's in the Jeep of a girl I ride with from the vocational center back to the high school. It's in her Jeep somewhere. She's probably gonna find it when she cleans it out over the summer, and she'll be like, "Oh, that's where that went." I've got one, but like if you ever say, "Hey, listen to this song," can't listen to it off the phone speaker. I can't listen to it off the computer. I have to be listening it into a headphone because as a musician, I'm trying to listen for. Oh, they just connected to the phone. Wow. I'm trying to listen for not just oh, how does it sound? It's like, yeah, I expect the song to sound good unless you send some ear raping thing to me. Then I'm gonna be really mad at you. But
Right.
I'm listening for multiple instruments so I can tell that person, yeah, I really like how the clarinets sound in this section. I really like how the violins sound in this section. Things like that, because that's how I can say this confidently. That's how I'm programmed as a musician.
Sure.
When you become a
Sure.
musician, that's like you get trained and you just get this sense of canny ability of programming, because it's like you are a musician and now you have to you learn at a young age that you have to just not listen to yourself playing, but you have to listen to others around you. And so for me, headphones is the way to go whenever I'm listening to music. If it's anything else like audio, like of a video or anything, I just listen to it through the phone speaker, through the speaker of the.
That's why I
PC.
said earlier, it's all subjective. It all comes down to personal preference.
Yeah, and that's just my personal pet peeve / preference. I mean, I'm sure there's others in this VC who, they're like, well, I listen, I'm used to listening, to everything through headphones. I mean, and it's depending on the job you do. Like if you're a person who wears headphones a lot of the audio for whatever you're using is going through your headphones. Like for your sake, like how you're a music producer, I'm sure a lot of the stuff you listen to is probably through some type of headphone now, because
it's actually both, because then you got to make sure that you're also compensating for what the speakers are representing too. That's the thing. Some people that are in studios, they'll do to check nuance, they'll put headphones on, but then to listen to it as a complete sound, they will have speakers. But again, you have to have a controlled environment. Otherwise, it'll sound like crap. Imagine if Dazzo did not have a controlled environment for the radio station. It would sound like dog crap. It would sound like you're in a gymnasium.
Oh yeah.
That or you'd be hearing, Mikey in the background the entire time, and it'd be bouncing off the walls He bouncing off the walls. He's giving me the death stare. He's getting ready to grab that 50 cal with the thermal heat signature. So he's you know so
now you're going
It's coming for you.
He's like I'm sending the FBI's CSI unit to track your address. Yeah, there it is.
Yep.
I love it. But you know, you're right though. So like a really good point. This is a great example. Actually, I'm really glad that I'm a part of this. We have a winter marching program we called Winter Winds. We have a sound system as a backtrack that we use, and we play in gymnasiums. It's like indoor marching kind of type.
Oh yeah.
So our director has a sound system. He's got 2 tall speakers and a giant bass speaker, and so we constantly audio check it whenever we go to a new gym because we're you know the gym that we currently use may not be loud enough.
Yep, that's right.
And so when we go to these bigger gyms, the first thing we ask the judges, or like the field judge will say, "Can we please check the sound system?"
Yep.
You know, we want to make sure it's loud enough. And so we had the opportunity to test it in my high school's gym, which is much bigger, like extremely bigger. You know, we're using an elementary school gym as our main practice field, but we got the chance to go to the main gym at my high school, and my high school has a real gym. The gym in the elementary, it's for 8-year-olds. It ain't gonna be very big. And so we were really happy because we'd be able to test what the sound system sound like in a controlled environment, like you said. That way we'd be able to hear this is how it sounds, and we can ask the music arranger, hey, could you turn up the audio in the backtrack, on this part here just a little bit more? Could you turn it down in this part more? And it really helps because then you don't have to worry about those things during critique as the director walk up to the judge and then the judge tells you your backtrack was too loud or your sound system was too quiet. You can test all those things just by having a good room to use it in and in a controlled environment. The thing is,
every room is going to be different no matter what. I don't care if it's a gymnasium or a theater,
absolutely,
or every room. And that's the same with bands. Bands have that same issue where like rock bands have to have line check. You have to have sound check because if stuff is going to sound in one room, it may sound like crap in another room. So you got to adjust all your EQs. And that brings me to my next point about audio interfaces. And Dazzo does not use an audio interface. He just uses his microphone and the magic of OBS and things like that. Yeah. Now I use an actual mixer. I have a physical mixer sitting right next to me. It's a Xenix from Behringer, and it's the 1204 USB. So I channel all of my audio through this. My microphone goes through this. I've got it EQ'd the way for this particular microphone. I split my audio with my HD, so I actually can use volume control on my TV. So I don't have to use my TV's volume. I can use my mixer's volume. It's a lot more complex of a setup. But that want to just do simple recording, it's amazing when I was starting out, none of this stuff was even affordable. Yeah. Even the most basic of basic was like $300.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
And they weren't even small units. Like, these were large units. These were not tiny portable things. When we had like the Tascam 4-tracks for recording on cassette, and that was not much bigger than maybe 12 by 10 or whatever, 12 by 8. But nowadays, with technology the way it is now, the ability to use something like a Scarlett, which is one of the most popular recording interfaces or audio interfaces from Focusrite, to Presonus's audio box, which is basically the same thing. You have options. You can now I like physical controls. Like I like physical, turning a knob, running a fader, pushing a button. I like that. I don't like virtual. I don't like virtual. I need to be able to hands on. Matter of fact, I use voice meters sometimes when I'm running my radio station. What I use is I have a MIDI controller that's USB driven. So I can actually work voice meters, faders, which are a digital representation on my screen, but I can physically move them using MIDI control. So yes, I'm a lot more advanced with a lot of my gear, But this is trial and error, man. This is trial and error.
Yeah.
And I've
And
had
I'm
more
with-
error than success, I'll be honest.
Oh yeah, and you'll always have more error than success. John F. Kennedy has a great quote. I can't remember. This is going to be extremely like.
I did not bang that woman, Miss Monroe.
Yeah, so he has a great saying that. This is going to be like this. He did not directly say this, by the way. This is going to be extremely like paraphrase / like not at all what he said, but he basically says like, you will fail more times than you will before you succeed. And I had a poster up here. Sadly, I took it down because I think it got ripped in half by the dog.
I mean, that's
but
life.
Sure, blame the
I
dog.
had it there, and it said that basically it was a really long quote, but it basically said that if you don't fail, you will never succeed.
I mean, that's life, right?
That's exactly how life, and that's how everything works.
And that's the problem with a lot of people these days is they don't want to lose. Therefore, we have to win. The participation trophy is because of those people not wanting to lose.
And that's the thing is that there's that problem, and then there's the issue of babying certain things. We need to teach people what it feels like to lose, so they know that feeling. So when it happens to them when they're an adult, they're not like super, please excuse my language, bitchy about it, or they're not, super like crybaby about it.
Okay, do you know how I learned? Do you know how I learned not to hurt myself? I literally learned how to not kill myself by putting a freaking spoon between a light socket or an outlet and a plugged-in device. I literally did that as a kid. Okay, that's how I learned not to do that. Was literally took a metal spoon, stuck it between a plugged-in lamp that was on and the socket. I got shot across the room. I learned my lesson.
Yeah, and that's the thing.
How you have to do it. That is, you have to take your beatings.
My God.
I learned.
That's why I am the way I am.
I had the same way. I learned not to touch electrical wires when the electricity was on, because I'd be 6-year-old me helping my dad, and I'd be like, yeah, just let me reconnect these wires. He's like, no, don't touch that, and I'd go flying across the room, and I'd be like, ow, hurt. And he goes, it's on you. He goes, it's on, and he'd start cussing me out for it. And he's like, I said not to touch that, this, and that.
Here's a great example
I didn't know. Nowadays, I know because I got launched across the room from 10,000 plus volts of electricity that just flew through my fingers.
And the thing is,
we just got. I was like, I got to reconnect these wires real quick. They'll be okay. Oh God! And then you get launched across a solid, 2 feet.
And I wouldn't worry about the stuff going through your fingers. I'd be more worried about the shit going across your heart and throwing your heart off. That'll kill you.
That's exactly what happens with a lightning strike. If you don't stand in that lightning safety position, the lightning flow will travel through your body, into your heart, all through your body, and then your heart will either. You have like a 1 in 100 chance of surviving.
That's why you bend over, grab your ankles, and kiss your ass goodbye. Exactly.
If you're not staying in that lightning safety position, and you get struck by lightning. That lightning's going through your heart. Your heart is immediately fried from the electricity. You no longer have anything pumping, and you basically you're deceased, basically standing up until you fall over again from the dead weight.
What I was gonna say though, I mean, there's a lot of bands that will play live concerts and will start pouring rain out, and then you'll get somebody who does not know how to ground electrical systems on these portable stages. And they will go up, they're soaking wet, and they'll touch a metal wrought iron railing. What do you think is going to happen?
They're going to go flying.
Electric chair. Yeah. And how many musicians have died because of that? I mean, there actually has been cases where musicians have died.
Well, I almost died on my post. So this wasn't necessarily a guy with electricity. This was with my podium. So the podiums we have, they stand about 10 feet tall in the air. They weigh more than about 400 pounds. You need a dolly to move it. So I'm moving my podium, and it's windy out, and it's rainy. So we have to put the podium together.
Yeah.
This guy, because these podiums are so heavy, they require you have to kick in the wheels, so the podium isn't unbalanced.
Yep.
So he forgets to kick in the wheels. So he's climbing up there. I'm helping the other drum major get his podium out. So this guy's climbing up there and he's like, "Pass me up the rails, the safety rails, to prevent me from falling and killing myself." And he's putting one in there, and it's pouring rain and it's windy. Sure enough, dude, if he didn't put that first safety rail in, he would have fallen off the podium, cracked his head open, and he would have died. Sure enough, he went to take a step forward to put in the next rail. Wind caught him off balance. His right foot slipped on the rain. What ended up happening was he used his right hand to grab the front rail, and he fell on his back. It was still painful, but if he didn't have the right rail there, he would have fallen overboard and onto the pavement. And I just hear a loud boom, and I was like, we're putting the podium down, the next podium down. I was like, what was that? And I turn around, I see an adult guy on my podium. I was like, hey, I shouted, I was pissed because I hate when people try setting up my podium, because my podium has to be set up a specific way for me as a drum major. Otherwise, I don't feel right on top of the podium.
Oh yeah.
So I'll be like, what are you doing on top of my podium? I was like, get off of there right now.
Don't you touch my podium, you bastard.
And he's all, well, I'm an adult, you can't yell at me. So he's like, I'm trying to put your rails together. I was like, that's my job. I go, that's not your job. I go, your job is to help with getting these podiums out of the truck trailer. After that, the job of setting them up is my responsibility. I go, that is my podium, not yours. Get off of it. Dude steps down. Director comes over to me and he's like, hey, we had a report that you yelled at a parent. He goes, what was it about? And I was like, he was on my podium. He's like, and then my director literally just like nodded in agreement. He was like, absolutely. And then he walked off, and I was like, yes, Elliot. I go, I'll
be honest. With audio gear, we are very, very, very don't fuck with our stuff.
Yeah.
Don't touch my headphones. Don't touch my speakers. Don't touch my mixer. Nothing. Do not touch, otherwise I will cut your hands off.
Yeah, I agree with you. You should be like that. I'm sorry if you're comfortable with just a random stranger coming up to your audio equipment, especially if you're a band, like a rock band, and just messing with stuff, and you're comfortable with that. I would be furious if it's just a random guy just walk up to the speaker that I set to be an exact way for safety of the crowd, for the safety of my own people, for the safety, for electrical reasonings, and you just start messing with it. I would be furious as well.
Well, and it's not just that; it's because you actually can notice the change.
Oh, yeah, you will notice the change right away. And that was the thing. Sure enough, I get up on that podium. I'm setting up the other bars. Dude, put the first one in the incorrect way. Noticed it right away. I was like, this is not the right place. I wanted to yell at him even more, be like, hey, guess what? This is wrong. But I was like, nah, that's kind of.
I'm seeing Dazzo. I'm like, that's got to happen all the time for you, man. Something gets bumped, something gets tweaked, something gets tripped on, and Dazzo's like, really, you asshole.
Yeah.
I need to fix your problem now that you don't know how to.
I'm sure it's the same way for Gio and CJ, because both of them have, families, and they have daughters, sons.
But I think their kids are
younger ones. I mean, who probably walk in there and they're like, "Oh, look at Dad's gaming room," and then they touch a bunch of stuff.
The thing is, I think their children are so well behaved. I don't honestly think they go in there and start nerfing with stuff. I really don't.
I'm sure probably.
I don't know, but it just seems like they wouldn't do that. But then again,
see, with the amount of equipment I see in their rooms, I know Gio's is in his basement. Like Gio is in a basement. And CJ has his own little office room. I'm sure they probably lock the door to those rooms because they know the value. They know the value of that equipment is in the thousands.
Oh yeah, Jeffrey said his stuff is probably around close to $20,000, maybe more.
Oh yeah,
with everything, everything, his equipment, all the stuff, the artwork, all that stuff in there is a pretty.
Yep. It's like a Mike's gonna laugh at me for this one. It's like an armory. Like you have a bunch of weaponry in there, and you know that it has to be secured, otherwise something might happen to it. Kid might grab it, get his hands on it, or they might break something. I'm sure, like you said, Skills. I'm sure the kids are very well behaved, but at the same time, I'm sure they still don't take the risk. I wouldn't if I knew that I had $20,000 worth of equipment, or in this case, let's say
I was a parent's nightmare. I was a shit who would go everywhere. I didn't give a fuck whose room it was. I would go in there and just wreck all the damage. I would just do all the things. I was the kid who got his ass spanked so many fucking times. I'm surprised I can sit down in my 40s.
So that's the thing about me, is that I will.
You will do it too.
I'm that type of person too. I would walk into other people's rooms. I'd be like, "Hey, what are you doing?" They're like, "Why are you in here?" And I was like, "I'm just interested in what you're doing." And they're like, "Get out." And I was like, "Oh."
All right.
Feelings are hurt.
Ladies and gentlemen, I think Mr. Ethan Boudreaux is going to sing us another song.
2 more songs, actually. I have
fancy.
I have Hold Back the River, and then at the very end of the show, I have a special performance with Wagon Wheel with my drum at the very end of the show.
Ooh, okay. All right, Mr. Rockstar.
Here we go.
You got it lined up?
Yeah, I got it lined up.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Rockstar Ethan Boudreaux is going to perform for us now with his second song of the night. Take it away.
Try to keep you close to me, but life got in between.
I started having that dance pose, boys and girls.
The being there, and that I should have been. Oh, the river, let me look in your eyes. Oh, the river, so
look at this.
For a minute, hold back the river, hold back. Once upon a different life, we rode our bikes into the sky. Now we call against the sun. Those days are flashing by.
Go Ethan. Go Ethan. Go Ethan.
Hold back the river, so I stop for a minute and be by your side. Hold back the river, hold back, yeah, woo! Back the river, let me look in your eyes. Hold back the river, so I stop for a minute and be by your side. Hold back the river, hold back, yeah, woo! Oh, 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 water, no me, water, won't you let us hold back? Let us hold each other, no me, water, no me. Water, won't you let us hold back? Woo! Let us hold each other. So stop for a minute and be by your side. Hold back, hold back, yeah, hold back, let me look in your eyes. Hold back the river, so I stop for a minute and be by your side. Hold back the river, hold back, yeah. Me, water, lonely water, won't you let us hold back? Let us hold each other lonely. Water, lonely water. Together, hold that. Let us hold each other.
Go Ethan. Go Ethan. Go Ethan.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, here you go.
Ladies and gentlemen, Rockstar Ethan Boudreau once again.
Yes.
I forgot to unmute my mic, but I did clap at the end with you there, Dazzo.
Yeah.
Nice.
I know we kind of skipped over some stuff, but essentially, whatever audio gear you guys want, honestly, it just comes down to what can you afford, researching it, and then making a decision. Just because Dazzo and I say this stuff is what's awesome, that's our opinion. It is all subjective, and it does come down to personal preference. What do you like? What do you think sounds good? Is going to be subjective. So you just got to look into it.
Now, I do have one thing to say, though. Sorry. How were you?
Uh-oh. What are you going to say?
You're all good, brother. Go ahead.
If you guys are starting out as a content creator, or even just in general, if you guys have any questions in terms of what to buy, or you need some recommendations, my DMs are open, my Discord's open, Skittles is open as well.
Yep.
Feel free to come to us. We will help you as best as we can in terms of budgeting, what we recommend, and we're open to that. We want to help people.
I actually might create a channel in my Discord for, various audio stuff that might interest people if they want to take a look and see.
Because not everyone is not knowledgeable. And we, myself and Skittles alone, we have 30 years of fucking experience together.
But remember, this didn't happen overnight, guys. What the fuck, Mikey?
Mike's like, 30 years of experience. I could find where you live in a matter of 5 seconds. All I need to do is pick up the phone.
but really quick, Dazzo, just because we have this all.
Oh, your mic is cutting out today. Yeah,
there you go, ladies and gentlemen. 30 years of experience right there, and his mic's cutting out. What a terrible.
There we go. That's better. That work?
Yep.
I was noticing it night, so yeah, fuck Wi-Fi. Fuck this Wi-Fi.
Ladies and gentlemen, 30 years of experience right there, and even the man, the myth, the legend himself can't get a proper working microphone.
Oh no! This is Wi-Fi. This is Wi-Fi internet.
I know. I
had to restart
I have a Wi-Fi right here.
Yeah.
So,
I've got motel shitty Wi-Fi that I cannot control, and that makes me very sad.
You know what's
as
really
a networking guy, I fucking hate Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
The most embarrassing thing is like when you go to like a McDonald's and you learn that their free Wi-Fi is better than your home's Wi-Fi.
Oh, it's because it's business grade, but I wouldn't trust it with a 10-foot pole.
Nope.
Oh, yeah, I neither would I. It's like going to a Star. It's like I don't know if you guys have ever heard the history YouTuber Oversimplified, but it's like there's a scene where he's got the president in the coffee shop from the Cold War.
Thank
and
you.
He goes, "But I share my nuclear secrets
via back on.
Via the coffee shop Wi-Fi, the unsecured coffee shop Wi-Fi. Would I ever?" And he clicks send, and it shows like Khrushchev getting the images of like the nuclear missiles and whatnot.
Oh God,
Mikey, did you just pepper spray yourself? Oh, that was water.
No, can you?
It's like no, it's right there.
Dazzo, can you go and hit the like button on my stream again? I had to restart it, so I am back live for the second time. I had to restart it because I had some difficulties.
But yeah, like we all said, it's all subjective. Whatever.
Thank you.
No,
Whatever you guys
actually, if you
want.
don't agree with us, that makes you the person who's inexperienced, no matter how many years of experience you have.
Wow, that's a dick saying. No, I was kidding.
Well, that's a you problem, not a me problem.
Exactly. The saying goes, "That's a you problem."
Yeah.
So, but
We
but yeah,
recommend the products.
so
If you don't go for it, hey, by all means, it's all personal preference and all that.
But guys,
in all
just remember,
seriousness,
I'm going to
we
say this
remember-
because this is very true. You get what you pay for.
Now,
You
here's
get
the
what you pay
thing.
for.
Don't just go to freaking
that is
Walmart
very
or
true in Mikey's line of work.
don't just go to freaking Walmart, grab yourself a freaking microphone and think it's gonna be okay. It does not work like that.
Nope.
It does not work like that.
We've all done that though. We've all been to Target, Walmart, or whatever because we were like, I'll just get some on the cheap. And boy, do we regret it.
Trust me,
We
the
regret
sound
it.
quality between a $10 microphone from Walmart to like a freaking $100 microphone from, say, the
Amazon.
Yeti brand microphone,
Yeti.
it's
Or
different.
pod mic.
It's totally different. You can hear it.
Yep.
I will say this. Bless you. The number one thing that there's a huge difference when it comes to that saying, money buys you, or excuse me, you pay for what you get. That saying has never been more true in such a time of how like our economy is working right now. Like with just like everything being more automatically expensive. Like he's right. The $20 speaker I have here I'm using as the microphone, guarantee you right now that it is nowhere near the same as however much money Dazzo spent on his speakers that he's using for his audio playback on his computer. Same with how I think this microphone was like $15 that I'm using currently, is nowhere near the same quality that Dazzo's is either. If I could switch to mobile here and show you guys myself the setup, but like my microphone is nowhere near the same as what Dazzo's. Dazzo's looks like his was more than $100, whereas mine's kind of small and just $15.
Yeah. So, like I said, pricing matters.
Yeah.
If you have the money for it, spend it, but don't overspend it. Okay.
Well, I will say this. If you have the money for it, spend it on something that you know will pay out in the future. Don't just buy it and be like, okay, I bought it. Make sure the investment you're making is worth it in the long run. Because if you don't make it, if you don't make that investment, if you make that investment and you don't make it and it doesn't work out, you just wasted $1,600. Like the PC I have, the gaming PC, I was arrogant and I tried just buying whatever one was the amount of money I had. And then I saw one that was, I wanted to, it was originally $1,600. Then I found one that was for $1,300 that had a better graphics card, a better, CPU, storage, all that, had better everything than the $1,600 one. Make sure what you buy is worth it in the long run. Yeah. Because if you're going to be doing something like this, or you're going to be trying it out, my best piece of advice, this is for any field, especially fields like Mikey's, sports officiating.
Sports officiating, no. What?
So here's the thing, I'll talk to you about this. I'll talk to you about this. As I officiate baseball, so I'm an umpire. So I'm the guys you see in black and blue.
You're the asshole.
Okay, all right. First off, I do my job pretty well, okay? Everyone, the parents, the coaches, my fellow umpires all say I do really good. Youth officials are actually good at what they do. It's the bad apples that make us look bad, okay? Like Angel Hernandez. So anyways, safety is our top priority as an umpire whenever we're behind the plate. And so that's the same thing for a field like Mikey's, where if you're going to be a law enforcement officer and you see that, let's say a level 3 bulletproof vest is $2,000, let's say, but you don't want to spend the money, and you see a level 3A, and you don't know the difference. For those of you who don't know the difference, level 3A can stop 9mm, a level 3 can stop rifle rounds. Not many, but it can stop a few rifle rounds. He's like,
Michael
hey,
is impressive.
Mike's impressed.
Mikey was like, wait, does this kid actually know what he's talking about?
He's like, this kid is 17 and he knows what he's talking about? Bravo. And so,
Don't get too cocky.
and you're thinking,
no.
well, the level 3A vest is cheaper. It's only $1,000. Guess what? You go up against, let's say, a suspect on a traffic stop. Turns out he's got AR-15, and you have a level 3A vest. That rifle round's going to go right through, and you just got yourself killed because you wanted the cheaper product. If you're going to be doing a job like that, or you're going to be doing a job, and you're going to be doing a long run, spend the money. And in Mikey's case, spend the money for your safety. The first thing I'm doing when I get out of college is starting to save up money, because I know the CPD is not going to. The CPD is going to give me a vest that's going to last me, maybe if I take really good care of it, up to 5 years. But I'm still going to be buying my equipment myself, because I know I need that money to protect myself as well as to protect others.
You are not wrong, my friend. You are not wrong.
Yep.
John Richard, welcome to the stream. Mikey's like, yep, pretty good.
Downtime.
Yep. And again, that kind of research, doesn't happen overnight.
It really does. It took me a solid few weeks to find the proper vest, because I have a vest. We home plate umpires, we wear vests under our shirt. It's to protect our chest protector, basically.
Sure.
It's called a West Vest Gold, $250 stock. This thing can take 100-mile-an-hour fastball. You will not feel a thing. And they've tested this. They've shot out of the pitching machine 100-mile-an-hour fastball. It hits you, but in the end, it works just fine.
I just got images of Homer Simpson getting smacked in the stomach with a freaking cannonball.
Oh no!
So that's the thing, is that I've taken 80-mile-an-hour fastballs to the face on my face mask, but because I spent the $190, well, I didn't spend it was a Christmas gift, but it is $190 stock price. The $190 was worth it from getting a concussion.
TLB, have yourself a good night. Thank you for
years
assisting
ago, one of our
earlier
professional
in the
baseball
madness.
players, Kirby Puckett,
Have yourself a good night, buddy.
He was hit in the side of the head with a wild pitch.
Mm-hmm.
And they think that's what contributed to his glaucoma in the end, but he did not have the special ear guard because he got hit on that side of the head. And just thinking about that for a second here, like,
ladies and gentlemen, TLB is out for
powerful
tonight.
hit. Take it to the chest without proper gear. That'll fucking stop your heart.
Oh yeah.
That'll fucking stop your heart. You'll drop to the ground.
Yeah.
We had an umpire they had an umpire in the MLB. He took a shot to the chest. It stopped his heart. He died on the field.
Yeah,
I remember that.
I don't, yeah.
Years. It's about quite a few years back now, but he got hit in the chest and it killed him.
Yep.
It stopped his heart and it killed him from the shock. Because that's the thing, is that when you see these umpires, if you actually do the job of an umpire, people when they see an umpire get hit, they're like, "You deserve it." But if you're an official, you're like, oh, you're scared for them, because you know how that feels to get hit like that. Especially if you've endured.
My dad got his forearm broken from a line drive, and this was a fucking softball that hit him. He got hit by a line drive in the arm, and my dad was like,
I got hit with a bat before. I've been hit with a bat before. It was in Babe Ruth, and this guy's a lefty. So I'm setting up this, as we call it, slot position, which is in between the batter and the catcher, and like that little
the little hole. Yep.
So he swings, loses his grip. This is a metal bat, by the way. Keep in mind, metal bat comes flinging at me, hits me straight in the face. If I wasn't wearing that mask, my face definitely would have a broken jawline, because he hits my mask. Mask tilts like way left, and it's at like a 90-degree angle, kind of. And I'm just like, huh. I go, nice. And everyone's like, are you okay? And I'm like, yeah, I'm good.
Really get a tickle.
There it is.
Literally, like that's just how effective my equipment is. Like I've taken I'll do little league games every once in a while, and these kids sometimes will pitch too low to the point where the catcher can't get it, but it hits my shoes, my plate shoes. And they're throwing like 40 mile. They're throwing good solid 40 miles an hour. 40-mile-an-hour ball hits me in the shoe. Don't feel a thing.
Yeah.
they're steel toe shoes, so you don't feel a thing. So I'm just like, cool. Same thing, a foul ball ricocheted off, hit me in my face mask. This is a Father's Day game. My mask, it's blue, so it matches my shirt. It's light blue and it matches my shirt. Mask tilted 90 degrees. I'm sitting there, kneeling, and I finally realized the mask went right, and I just looked down and I was like, okay, took a big sigh, and everyone was like, "You all right, Blue?" And I was like, got up, clapped my hands. I was like, "Yep, okay, let's do this." Put the mask back, foul ball. So whenever I see guys on TV get hit like that, I already know what they're going through. There's 2 stages of being hit as an umpire. The first stage is shock, when you realize, like, oh, this 90-mile-an-hour fastball just hit me here. The second stage is the realization and the pain that comes after if there's a small amount of pain.
Yeah.
And for some of these older guys, like that guy who got killed from it, his heart couldn't handle the shock of a moving vehicle, basically, like a vehicle on a highway speed hitting him that quickly. His heart and brain could not process that, and it killed him from basically a shock attack. And that's the one thing that a lot of people don't understand, is that officials can get seriously injured or killed just as much as the players can. Now, granted, the players don't have all that protective equipment, so their chances of being killed increase. But even with that equipment, higher in the MLB.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, if you ever take a fastball to the nuts, I don't give a shit what you're wearing. Ain't nothing going to protect you from that.
Okay, so listen, you ain't gonna walk away. You're gonna be singing like Michael Jackson. I'm telling you, I took one straight to it. I took one straight to him, 70 miles an hour. Used this cup called the Nutty Buddy. Didn't feel a thing. Don't get me wrong. It stung. I could feel it. Never collapsed or anything. I was just like, oh, I was like, okay. I was like, so that's what that feels like. And I was like at 70 miles an hour. I was like, and then, after the situation was over, I hear the pitcher go, "Hey, you want to try 90? And I was like, bro, let's go. I was just like, let's go. I was like, hit it. I was like, because I'm telling you right now, this cup is literally, like, they've tested it before. They literally took the owner of the product. He put it on, and he put himself in front of a pitching machine, set it to the top speed, which I think is like 95. Dude's there, fires the ball, hits it right in the cup area. Dude just kind of like stumbles a bit from the impact force, and he's like, with my product, he goes, your nuts are guaranteed protection.
I'm sorry, I'm just sitting here cross-legged right now, screaming, just no. Just every bit of
I think Mikey is too. I can just see on his face, like him covering his mouth, like no, please stop.
We're just.
It's don't get me wrong. You are absolutely right. It's like you'll still have a sting, but
a sting? Right. Are you kidding me? A sting? No, that's gonna be like I ain't gonna ever have kids again.
So here's the thing. That's what's happening. You're not gonna have kids again if you ain't wearing it. And here's the thing. You know what a manager is starting to do around the league? He'll walk into the dugout and he'll go up to the umpires and he'll be like, "Hey, Blue," and we're just like, "What?" And he goes, and he has a bat in his hand, and he goes, "I'm doing a cup check on you guys." And I went, I was like, "Oh, no, you ain't." I was like, and we started running off because we're like, "No, you ain't."
What is like a fucking hazing technique or something? Jeez.
Those of you who don't know what a cup check is. It's when you basically take the barrel of, or not the barrel. It's when you take the handlebar of a bat and you basically like tap the private area of a man. And if it doesn't like make a hard surface contact with an object, that person's not wearing the cup. The punishment is you take the barrel of the bat, swing it under there with all the might of the force you can, and you hit them directly in the no-no area. And that person will learn their lesson, not only of not having the ability to reproduce, but they also will never learn to always have their cup on.
Dude, that sounds hot. Dude, your generation fucked up, man.
Wasn't wearing his cup, so he was like, he goes, "I'm doing a cup check on you." He does me, and I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "You can do it." He does it to me. He's like, "Very good, home plate." He goes, "Very good, Blue." Turns to my partner, he did it. He goes, "You ain't wearing a cup." And then he flips the bat, and my base umpire goes, "Oh, no, you ain't." He books it, and the head coach runs after him. It was really funny. I mean, obviously, they were joking. He wasn't really going to hit him with it. But it was a great. Myself and the players, we all had a great time with it because it was so funny. Because it was just we're seeing a 50-year-old man running at another 50-year-old man with a bat in his hand. If you didn't know the context, you would look like that as a manager trying to kill the umpire over a call. Because he's there looking in. So you're just sitting there, you're just sitting there like everyone's just sitting there laughing, and then like if you don't know the context of the situation, you're like, why are they just standing around laughing? Help him!
And
so we actually did have a parent that was like, we had a parent call the local PD about our guy with a blunt instrument. PD got on scene and we were just like, hey, they didn't have context, they did the right thing still for calling it in. They're just like, everything's under control here, because umpires actually, we act as park security officials, so we have the right to kick you out or call the police and have you detained. We can't physically detain you. That's as a person who takes criminal justice courses, I'm telling you right now, the whole citizen's arrest BS that doesn't give you the right as a citizen to detain someone. That just simply allows you to basically tackle someone to the ground, hold them against their will, and hope to God you are in the right, because if you're not, you're going to jail. Law enforcement, on the other hand, is different. Law enforcement have the legal right to stop you, and you have to stay there with them until they verbally or physically say you're free to go or you can go. Citizen's arrest is different. I almost performed citizen's arrest on a coach, because my partner is ex-police officer, retired for about 10 years now.
Fuck is that?
So he did DUI unit for like 7 of his years on the force. Then he left. I went back to patrol. And
I'd like to thank you very much.
The home plate, the head manager of the team walks up, and my partner, he's the home plate umpire, and he's looking him up and down, and then he walks away. And my partner, he calls my name, and he's like, "Come here." And I was like, "Yeah, what's up?" I was like, "The game hasn't started yet." I was like, "What's wrong?" And he's like, "The head manager might be intoxicated." And I was like, "What?" I'm just like, "How do you know that?" And he's like, his pupils, he goes, "I think they were dilating." And at the time, I didn't know what that meant because I was like 15 and I hadn't taken my law classes and that. Now I know what that means. It's it's kind of hard to show is like talk wise, but if people who don't know what that means, it basically means that those black dots in the center of your eye, they start like they're physically, like it looks like they're vibrating, but they're actually like physically moving. And that's because your body kind of really can't control the amount of either narcotics or alcohol that you've ingested into your body. It's like basically, it's like a caffeine addiction when your hands are shaking a lot, but just take those tiny black dots in your eye and make them like move left and right or up and down. And so I call the manager over there, and I was like, "What am I looking for?" And he's like, "Check to see if those tiny dots in his eyes are moving up and down or left and right." And I called the manager over here, and I was like, "Hey, I just want to have a talk with you about some rules." I was making an excuse up to talk to him. And I'm looking him dead in the eyes. And, just so happened to be his eyes, it wasn't necessarily his pupils. It was more just like he kept moving his eyes rapidly, and when you do that, your pupils will they will get big or small. When your pupils dilate, I did forget to add this. Those dots get very, very small. When your pupils dilate, from narcotic or alcohol intoxication, those black dots shrink down very tiny. And that wasn't the case for this guy. I saw his pupils were kind of like tiny, but they weren't super to the point where you'd have to squint your eyes to look at it. So I'm thinking to myself, I walk up and nowadays I'd probably walk up and be like, "No, it's fine. I don't think he's intoxicated." But I was like, "It looks like it." And my home plate umpire, he's like, "All right, stand back. I'll take care of this." And so, what ended up happening was he talked to the guy on the side. He pulled the manager off the field and took him way away somewhere. And everyone's like, why isn't the game starting? I'm like, the home plate umpire and manager had to discuss something in private. I go, that's all I know. And the other team's manager was like, well, he's like, well, we're stalling this game. And I'm like, don't worry, we haven't started the timer yet. We'll start the timer once that first pitch is thrown. So he never ended up getting arrested, but the home plate umpire, I'm sure, probably police interrogated him, like pushed him against, did you drink before this game?
There it is.
So yeah, but I was born citizen's arrest. I laugh at it now because I know for a fact now this dude wasn't intoxicated. But like nowadays, I would have walked up to the home plate umpire and been like, "So what's your PC?" And only Mikey knows what that acronym means because he's the only one who's a police officer here. I was what's your PC or RS here? And and so I'm like, because you do realize we need either PC or RS to actually do anything to him. Dazzo, you sound like you wanted to take a guess.
I already know what it means.
You do or don't?
Hello, I've been playing 5M roleplay for a while.
Okay,
yeah, I know.
5. Okay, yeah. All right, but here, watch this. Okay, so here, Mikey, you know what? I'm gonna get off topic for just a second here. Mikey, I'm gonna ask you something. I guarantee you ain't gonna know this because I guarantee that 5M roleplay hasn't taught you this. Mikey, is it legal to shoot? Is it legal to shoot a fleeing felon in the back if they pose no threat to the public or yourself?
Tennessee versus Gardner.
Did you know that? You definitely didn't. I could see the smirk in your face.
Yeah, he already knew that.
Yes,
He knew that a long time ago.
No, I'm saying, did you know that, Dazzo?
Mm-hmm.
Him, I already know he knows that.
Of course, I know that.
I just mentioned the case law.
I say he mentioned the.
You will never shoot someone who's unfucking armed, regardless if they're the
to be
suspect.
fair,
or
though,
not.
that shit has happened regardless.
Yes.
That fucking item is on the books.
The law
It has
is-
fucking happened.
The law is that you cannot shoot a fleeing felon unless they pose a danger to yourself or the public around you.
But that's
Yep.
perceived.
That's it, and they could be unarmed and still pose a danger to the public.
Mhm.
But you really need to have a gut feeling / knowing feeling this guy's going to try something against a member of the public. 9 out of 10 times from what we've studied in class is that a lot of the times we've seen guys we've seen this one local police department where this guy was just walking, the suspect started running from him in handcuffs, got a jog a bit, pulled out his gun, fired 2 rounds, hit him in the back.
Yeah.
Oh wait, Cal, it's snowing at your place, Mike.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Well,
All right.
What? Oh, yeah.
this has actually been a really interesting episode for sure. I've actually learned a lot.
Yeah.
See, I've learned a lot. I've not only learned a lot, but I also got to meet new people, which is always a pleasure, especially guys like you, Mikey and Skittles and Ethan, who are, Mikey, law enforcement, Skittle, who's a fellow musician like me, and then Ethan, who's a streamer like Dazzo, who's trying to get things going for himself.
He's a singer.
Yeah, he's a singer too.
I've been running. I'm on
Musician.
YouTube actually.
And I'm a content creator too. I'm just like, it's like my music is my passion. That's always been my thing.
Absolutely.
But that's why I'm like Dazzo and I. It's funny because Dazzo and I actually have kind of very different opinions about like what's really good audio, and we kind of had a bit of a struggle between the who's right and who's wrong. And it's like we're both right. I mean, we're both right. It's comes down to personal preferences. It comes down to what you can afford. And it also comes down to just research the hell out of the stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Don't just buy stuff. Just don't buy random stuff because I've done that. Yeah. You will regret pissing your money away if you just buy random stuff.
Yep.
Absolutely. I will say this. If you guys, have a passion for something like this, or even if it's just music, or if it's umpiring, or if it's singing, if it's going to law enforcement, and you need to spend the money for whatever it is that you need to be successful, or in law enforcement terms, alive. Spend the money. Do the research. look into it. If you know friends or family that are in these professions, or you know people that are in the professions, ask them for advice.
Yep.
I'm telling you right now, if a person who is in the field, or a person who is in a field about this, about your passion, will be much more reliable than the computer and what Google will say.
Yep.
Because Google is going to go based off of facts
Recommendations and facts, and yeah.
versus a human being is going to go off of personal experience and how it actually is. Google goes off of what it's supposed to be like and the facts and statistics of it. Now, I'm not saying Google's never going to be a correct source of information, and blah, blah, blah. But do the research online. But if you know people that are in the field or the passion that you're interested in, talk to them and ask them about their personal preferences too, because their information is just going to be as valuable as what Google provides.
Yep. All right.
And I think actually better because Google's just dumb.
Google's just Google.
Google's just Google.
All right, guys.
But we gotta wrap things up tonight. But
but hold on. Before we do that.
Wait. Do I
Before we do that, ladies and gentlemen, I think Mr. Ethan Boudreau has one more final track for all of us.
And I will be doing the closing if you don't mind, Dazzo. After this, I will do the closing.
Yeah, well, you can do that because you're a nice guy, and you're a wise guy, and you're fucking awesome.
Thank you.
But
Thank you.
before we get to that, before we let Mr. Ethan Boudreau do his last performance, I do want to say a big shout outs to fourseasonshosting.com. Go check out their website. They got some amazing deals on VPS servers, game servers, web hosting, code servers as well, where you can store your codes. And they got a lot more products and amazing products coming out more in the future. So once again, fourseasonshosting.com, go check them out. Amazing stuff. Amazing
and don't
customer
forget,
service.
I think your code still works, right, Ray Dazzo?
Oh yeah. Use the
Okay.
code word Dazzo.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Yes, I'm thinking too.
Canadian.
Oh,
It's like, oh yeah. You betcha.
Hey, hey, go get your poutine, eh?
Hey. Winston Squirtle. Okay. Mm-hmm.
Ladies and gentlemen.
How about we resolve this in Ireland with some potatoes?
Oh my god.
Ladies and gentlemen, the rock star Ethan Boudreau. Take it away, my friend. Take it away.
Here we go. The last performance, the special one, with my drum, wagon wheel. Headed out south to the land of the pines. On my way down to North Carolina. Get off the road. Pretty gonna see headlights. Down the coast in 17 hours. Picking me up, boot camp dog with flowers, hoping around you can see my baby tonight. So me mama like a wagon wheel. Rock me mama anyway you feel. Hey, 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 mama rock me. Rock me mama like a wind in the rain. Rock me mama like a southbound train. Hey, 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 mama rock me.
Dance party, everybody.
Growing up in New England, I was born to be a fiddler in an old tongue string band. I play the guitar, I play a banjo now. Oh no, country weather get me down. Like my money playing poker, so I had to leave town. But ain't no turning back to living that old life no more. Hey, come me mama like away get me. Rock me mama anyway you feel. Hey, 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 mama, rock me. Hey, rock me, mama, like a wind in the rain. Rock me, mama, like a southbound train. Hey, 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 mama, rock me.
Go Ethan. Go Ethan. Go Ethan.
Walking through the south, oh, got a trucker to Philly, had a nice long talk. He got other ways from a climb down to Johnson City, Tennessee. I gotta get a move on before the sun. I hear my baby calling my name. Oh, son. If I die rally, at least I will die free. So rock me, mama, rock me, mama, any way you feel. Hey, hey, mama, rock me. Hey, rock me, mama, like a wind in the rain. Rock me, mama, like a southbound train. Hey, 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 mama, rock me.
Go Ethan. Go Ethan. Go Ethan. Go Ethan.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen! The final performance of the night for episode 15 of the Dazzo Nation Podcast.
Wow. That was epic. Drumming and singing at the same time.
Oh yeah! Oh yeah!
That was awesome. Thank you, Ethan, for that amazing performance tonight.
You're welcome.
You wanna hit that closing remarks?
Yes, from everybody here at the Dazzo Nation Podcast team, myself, Mikey, and Skittles and Dazzo. Thank you for watching episode number 15 of the Dazzo Nation Podcast. This is also video 316 for me. 316 videos as of tonight. We're closing on 33,000 YouTube channel views. 33,000 YouTube channel views. Yes, that's right. And 900 subscribers. We're closing very close to 900 subscribers. Thank you very much. On behalf of myself, again, we'll see you guys next week for episode 16 of the Dazzo Nation Podcast, right here on the Dazzo Nation and my channel. Have a good night, everybody!
And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Ethan Boudreau, Mr. Skittlekicks, Mr. Mikey, Mr. Warrior. And, of course, say thank you to the entire moderation team. Got a bunch of you amazing people to thank you for keeping the chat alive and keeping the spammers away from the chat. So, thank you to everybody for watching. We love you all. And of course,
Thank you,
Mr.
Shannon.
Warrior,
Thank you.
thank you for being here and chatting it up with us.
Absolutely. I do prefer
I'm not
Senor,
done yet.
actually.
You had to do that, eh?
It was nice though to get to meet quite you three. Dazzo, he's my second boss in Jeffrey's server, so I kind of work with him on a daily basis. So I've known him for quite some time.
Mhm.
It was good to meet you, Mike, and it was good to meet you, Ethan, and Skittles. But
Good to meet you too. And welcome
I'm
to
very glad, Mike. I appreciate what you do for the country. I know many people don't know what you do. I don't know what the hell you do, but I know you do it for the sake of national security and ensuring that my family gets to eat 3 meals a day, 7 days a week for 365 days of the year. And for that, your service will always be appreciated to my family and to the United States government, even though the government probably doesn't really like you that much. So, oh shit! I made something crash, but sadly, I have to take it away.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you to everybody for watching. Thank you to fourseasonshosting.com for sponsoring the podcast tonight, as always. And tomorrow night, I will be back with some more American Truck Simulator. We're going to be driving the Freightliner FLB as we continue Retro Week here on ATS. Make sure you guys tune in tomorrow.
And speaking of ATS, before we go, I will be back tomorrow also with episode 3 of ATS Live on my channel. Yes, that's right. ATS Live will be back on my channel tomorrow. Or maybe in a live hangout, I don't know yet. But either way, I'll be back live tomorrow night. See you guys and good night, Dazzo.
Good night, buddy.
Actually, really quick, Dazzo, I'm back, by the way.
Yes.
What is the stream plan for tomorrow? Like, what time are you thinking we're going to go live?
That depends if I get stuck in traffic or get stuck in that snow. Because we're supposed to get a bunch of fucking snow tomorrow.
Excuse is that? You're the Dazzo Nation. You're not stopped by snow or traffic. Traffic and snow listen to you.
Every car. Plow through every car, commit a few
There it is.
fatalities, and then
in Canada, you guys need big vehicles.
No.
Like monster truck size. They need to
Yeah.
drive over the small ass car.
If you take a snowplow,
Yeah, I know, but I'm waiting for Dazzo to end the stream before I end mine so we can end at the same time.
All right. With that said, we'll see you all tomorrow night for some more ATS live stream. Good night, everybody. And
Later.
of course, keep striving. No matter what you guys do in life, stay out of fucking trouble. Your boy Dazzo Nation is out for the night.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Have a good night.
Driving through the New York rain, roll down my window and let the rain in. You call me by my name, too late to turn home. We chase the night away. Come on, come on, come away. Let's dance to whatever, something to remember. Come along, come along, come along, come away. Make me unravel, forget about the madness. Silent, I hear it calling, no more of hiding. And I'll go on forever, riding this summer loving. We paint the sky green. And I'll go on forever. White sheets and coffee stains. Somewhere in Brooklyn, you made me young again. This summer